This is Daniel Rothman, and you're tuned to 104.7 FM. It's 11:37 on what started as an ordinary Tuesday morning. The weather outside is overcast, temperature sitting around 52 degrees, and if you're just joining us, welcome. I've been your voice here for the past 6 years, and I have to tell you, this morning feels different. I can't quite put my finger on it yet, but there's something in the air. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I need more coffee. Emily just handed me a note. She's my assistant here in the booth, keeps me organized when my brain wants to wander. The note says there's been some kind of incident at Mercy General Hospital downtown. Nothing too alarming from what we're hearing, just a disruption in their emergency services. Apparently they've had to divert some ambulances to St. Catherine's across town. Technical difficulties, they're calling it. Equipment malfunction in one of the wards. These things happen, I suppose. Modern hospitals run on so many computerized systems now that when one thing goes down, it can create a domino effect. I remember when my daughter was born 7 years ago now, and the hospital lost power for about 20 minutes. Backup generators kicked in immediately, but you could feel the tension in that building. Every beep, every machine, every light suddenly mattered in a way you don't think about until it's threatened. She came into this world screaming healthy and perfect, and I'll never forget holding her for the first time under those emergency lights. Life is fragile. We build all these systems to protect it, but sometimes the systems themselves become the problem. Anyway, Mercy General is handling it. They've got protocols for this sort of thing. The city's been investing millions into hospital infrastructure over the past decade. I did a whole series on it last year, interviewed administrators, toured facilities, everything state-of-the-art. They've got these robots now. Did you know that? Autonomous machines that can deliver medications, collect samples, even assist in certain procedures. The future is here, folks, whether we're ready for it or not. Emily's shaking her head at me. She thinks I ramble too much in the morning slot. She's probably right. Let me get to the news updates and then we'll open the phones. Traffic on the interstate is moving smoothly. No major delays reported. Downtown is seeing the usual congestion around the business district. If you're heading toward the hospital district, though, you might want to take Riverside Drive instead of Main Street. There are emergency vehicles in the area, and while nothing serious has been reported, it's better to avoid the slowdown. In national news, Congress is still debating the infrastructure bill. I won't bore you with the details because, honestly, it's the same arguments we've been hearing for months. Locally, the school board is meeting tonight to discuss the proposed changes to the district boundaries. That's going to be contentious. I've already received about 15 emails from parents on both sides of the issue. We'll probably dedicate some time to that tomorrow. The weather forecast is calling for clouds throughout the day with a chance of rain this evening. Nothing severe, just typical November weather. Keep an umbrella handy if you're planning to be out after dark. Sunset today is at 5:43. These short days always get to me. By the time I leave the station, it feels like midnight even though it's barely evening. Emily's holding up another note. This one says, we're getting calls about Mercy General. People saying they can't get through to the hospital's main line. Phone systems must be down too. Whatever technical issue they're having, it's more widespread than initially reported. I'm sure they'll have it sorted soon. These institutions have redundancies built into their redundancies. You don't run a major metropolitan hospital without backup plans for your backup plan. Still, it's worth noting if you have business at Mercy General today, you might want to call ahead, or try calling anyway. If you can't get through, maybe consider rescheduling if it's not urgent. For emergencies, remember that St. Catherine's and Westside Medical are both fully operational. I'm looking out the window of our studio here on the 4th floor. We've got a pretty good view of the downtown skyline from up here. I can actually see the top floors of Mercy General from this angle about 8 blocks northeast. Everything looks normal from here. The building's standing solid, no smoke, no obvious signs of crisis, just a regular Tuesday morning in the city. You know what's strange? The parking lot at the hospital looks fuller than usual. I can see cars streaming in, not out. You'd think if there was a major problem, people would be leaving. But maybe that's families arriving after hearing their loved ones are being moved or treated. Or maybe it's staff being called in to handle whatever situation has developed. It's hard to say from this distance. Let me take a quick break here. When we come back, I'll try to get someone from the hospital administration on the line to clarify what's happening. In the meantime, you're listening to 1004.7 FM. I'm Daniel Rothman, and we'll be right back after these messages. We're back. It's 11:51, and I've spent the last few minutes trying to reach someone at Mercy General. No luck. The main switchboard isn't responding, and the direct line to their communications department just rings endlessly. I've left messages. Hopefully someone will call back soon with an update. Emily tells me our traffic reporter, Jack Morehouse, is actually near the hospital right now. He's not on air yet, but he's texted to say there's definitely something unusual happening. Police have established a perimeter about 2 blocks from the main entrance. Not a full closure, but they're controlling traffic flow. Jack says he's seeing a lot of confused people, folks trying to get to the hospital to visit family members and being turned away. The officers aren't giving much information, just saying there's an ongoing situation and to please use alternate facilities for non-emergency needs. This is starting to feel less like a technical malfunction and more like something else. I don't want to speculate because speculation without facts is just noise, and we have enough noise in the world already. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't curious. Concern might be a better word. When hospitals start turning people away and police establish perimeters, it usually means something more serious than a server going down. I'm going to be transparent with you because that's always been my philosophy on this show. I don't know what's happening at Mercy General. I don't have information beyond what I've shared, but I'm working on getting answers, and as soon as I know something concrete, you'll know it too. That's the deal we have, you and me. I don't feed you speculation or rumor. I give you facts, or I give you my clearly labeled opinion, or I tell you straight up that I don't know. Right now I don't know, but I'm watching and I'm listening, and I'm trying to find out. Emily just brought me coffee, black 2 sugars. She's good like that, knows when I need the caffeine boost. I can see she's worried too. She's been fielding calls from listeners who have family at Mercy General, and she's having to tell them the same thing I'm telling you. We don't have answers yet. One caller, Emily tells me, said her mother is a nurse on the 4th floor of Mercy General, and she hasn't been able to reach her for the past hour. The nurse's shift started at 7 this morning, and she usually texts her daughter during her first break around 10. No text came. Calls go straight to voicemail. The daughter is sitting in her car about 3 blocks from the hospital, blocked by the police perimeter, and she's terrified. I can't imagine what that feels like. Actually, I can. When my ex-wife was in labor with our daughter, complications developed. For about 45 minutes, I didn't know if either of them would be okay. The doctors rushed in, started using words I didn't understand, and I was just standing there in my ridiculous hospital gown and shoe covers, completely helpless. That feeling of powerlessness when someone you love is beyond your reach, when all you can do is wait and hope and pray if you're the praying type. It's crushed. So to that daughter sitting in her car, and to anyone else out there trying to reach someone at Mercy General, I want you to know I'm doing everything I can to get information. This isn't just a story to me. These are real people, real families, real lives. I take that seriously. The clock says 12:04. I should move on to other news, but honestly, everything else feels trivial right now. The school board meeting, the traffic report, the weather forecast, who cares? There's something happening at one of our city's major hospitals, and until we understand what that is, nothing else seems to matter. I'm going to stay here with you. I'm going to keep this line open, and we're going to figure this out together. Emily's on the phone now, trying to reach the police department's public information officer. She's persistent, I'll give her that. She's been put on hold 3 times already, but she keeps calling back. Meanwhile, I'm scrolling through social media on my phone, looking for any posts from people at or near the hospital. There's not much. A few people asking if anyone knows what's happening. One person posted a photo of the police cars, but it's taken from a distance and doesn't show much detail. Mostly just confusion and concern. No official statement from the city yet. No press release from the hospital. In this age of instant communication, the silence is deafening. You know what bothers me most? It's not the lack of information itself. It's what the lack of information might mean. In my experience, when authorities go quiet, it's either because they don't know what's happening yet, or they know exactly what's happening and they're trying to figure out how to tell us without causing panic. Neither option is comforting. I covered a chemical spill about 4 years ago at one of the plants on the east side of town. For the first 2 hours, nobody official would say anything. Turned out they were trying to determine if the chemical that leaked was toxic, and if so, whether the cloud was spreading toward residential areas. They didn't want to evacuate and cause chaos if it wasn't necessary, but they also didn't want to delay if lives were at risk. In the end, they made the right call. The chemical was relatively harmless, the wind was blowing away from populated areas, and the situation was contained. But those 2 hours of silence were excruciating for the people who live nearby. Is this like that? I don't know. I hope so. I hope this is just extreme caution while they assess something that will turn out to be manageable. But the police perimeter suggests they're concerned about something spreading or escalating. You don't establish a perimeter around a building because a computer system crashed. Emily's off the phone. She's shaking her head. The public information officer said they'd have a statement within the hour. That's bureaucrat speak, for we're still figuring out what to say. She asked if there was any danger to the public, and the officer said there's no reason to believe so at this time. That phrase "at this time" always bothers Biz. It's technically accurate but ultimately meaningless. At this time, the sun is in the sky. At this time, I'm wearing a blue shirt. At this time, there's no meteor hurtling toward Earth. At this time tells you about now, but promises nothing about 5 minutes from now. It's 12:17. I'm going to open the phone lines. If you're listening and you have information about what's happening at Mercy General, call us. If you're near the hospital and can describe what you're seeing, call us. If you work there or have family who works there and you've heard anything at all, call us. Our number is on your screen if you're watching the live stream, and if you're listening on traditional radio, it's 55. The board is lighting up already. Emily's screening calls now, trying to find someone with actual information and not just more questions. She's good at this. She can tell within 10 seconds if a caller has something valuable or if they're just reacting to the same rumors everyone else has heard. She's putting someone through. Hold on. Okay, Emily tells me we have someone on the line who lives in an apartment building adjacent to the hospital. She can see the emergency entrance from her window. I'm not putting her on air because we haven't verified her identity, but Emily's relaying what she's saying. The woman reports that ambulances are still arriving, but they're not leaving. She's counted at least 7 ambulances parked at the emergency entrance, and more keep coming. She says she can see people in hazmat suits. Not the regular emergency medical gear, but full containment suits. Hazmat suit. That changes things. That suggests contamination. Chemical, biological, radiological, something that requires that level of protection. This is no longer about a technical malfunction. This is about exposure to something dangerous. I need to be careful here. I need to report what we're hearing without causing unnecessary panic. But I also need to be honest about what this likely means. If emergency responders are wearing hazmat suits at Mercy General, there's a contamination event happening. The question is what type and how serious. Emily's trying to reach the city's emergency management office now. They coordinate responses to major incidents, and they'll have better information than the regular police public information office. While she does that, let me think through what we know and what it might indicate. Hazmat suits could mean a lot of things. A patient could have come in with a known infectious disease that requires isolation protocols. Ebola, for instance, though we haven't had a case in this region in years, or it could be a chemical exposure, someone injured in an industrial accident who arrived contaminated. Or it could be something inside the hospital itself. A spill of medical chemicals or a problem with their sterilization systems. The fact that they've established a perimeter and are diverting ambulances suggests it's not contained to one patient or one room. If it were, they'd isolate that area and continue normal operations elsewhere. The whole facility being affected points to something more systemic. I keep coming back to those autonomous robots I mentioned earlier. Modern hospitals have so many automated systems now: medication dispensers, pneumatic tube systems for transporting samples, robotic delivery carts. What if one of those systems malfunctioned and spread something throughout the building? A contaminated sample broken open and distributed through the ventilation system. A medication error multiplied across dozens of patients. I'm speculating now, and I said I wouldn't do that. Let me pull back. Here's what we know for certain. Mercy General Hospital is experiencing some kind of incident. Emergency services have been disrupted. Police have established a perimeter. Witnesses report seeing hazmat suits. Ambulances are being diverted to other facilities. Phone systems at the hospital are down or overwhelmed. That's the factual foundation. Everything else is guesswork until we hear from official sources. It's 12:31. Emily tells me she got through to emergency management, but they wouldn't confirm anything beyond what we already know. They said a coordinated response is underway and more information will be available. She asked specifically about the hazmat suits, and the person on the phone said they couldn't comment on operational details of an ongoing incident. The walls are closing in on this story, and I don't like it. Information wants to be free, as they say. But people in charge of information during crises want to control it. I understand the reasoning. Say the wrong thing at the wrong time and you've got mass panic. But say nothing and people fill the void with fear and imagination, which can be just as dangerous. I'm looking at my computer screen now, pulling up the Mercy General Hospital website. It's still operational. The homepage shows their usual content: visiting hours, directions, physician directories, patient portals. No banner announcing an emergency. No alert message. It's frozen in time, showing the hospital as it was at 11 this morning before whatever happened started happening. Their social media accounts are similarly quiet. The last post was at 9:15 this morning, a generic health tip about staying hydrated during the winter months. Nothing since. Either their social media team is locked down inside and can't post, or they've been instructed not to communicate until there's an official statement. I'm clicking through to their page about their robotic systems. Here it is. They're quite proud of it, actually. The page describes their fleet of autonomous mobile robots, implemented about 8 months ago as part of a hospital modernization initiative. The robots handle medication delivery, laboratory sample transportation, linen and supply distribution, and environmental cleaning. They're designed to free up nursing staff for direct patient care by automating routine tasks. The robots operate on a network of sensors and AI-driven navigation. They can call elevators, open doors, avoid obstacles, and prioritize tasks based on urgency. They're integrated with the hospital's electronic health record system, so they know which medications go to which patients, which samples need to go to which labs. It's impressive technology, really efficient, cost-effective. The future of healthcare logistics. But here's the thing about complex automated systems. They're as good as their programming and as reliable as their maintenance. A single bug in the code, a single corrupted data point, and the whole system can cascade into failure. These robots are networked together. If one gets contaminated with something, it could theoretically spread it throughout the facility without anyone realizing until it's too late. Am I connecting dots that shouldn't be connected? Maybe. But when you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be considered. If this is a contamination event that spread rapidly through multiple wards of the hospital, an automated system would be one of the few vectors that could accomplish that. Emily just gasped. She's looking at her phone and her face has gone pale. She's showing me a text message from her friend who works in the city's 911 dispatch center. I'm going to read this exactly as written because I think you need to hear it. The text says, "We're getting calls from inside Mercy General. People screaming. Reports of attacks. Violence. Dispatchers being told not to send more units. Situation unclear. Be safe. Attacks. Violence. Inside a hospital. I don't understand. None of this makes sense. A contamination event doesn't explain attacks, unless people inside are panicking, fighting over exits, trampling each other in fear. That could be described as violence, I suppose. But the word attacks is specific. It implies aggression, intent." Emily's trying to call her friend back, but she's not answering. Probably busy with the emergency response. I'm sitting here trying to process this new information and fit it into the framework of what we already know. Hazmat suits, perimeter, diverted ambulances, phone systems down, and now reports of violence inside. What kind of contamination causes violent behavior? Neurotoxins, maybe. Chemical exposure that affects brain function. There are substances that can cause aggression, paranoia, hallucinations. PCP is famous for it, though that's a drug, not a contaminant. Rabies causes aggression in animals, but the progression is slower and humans rarely reach that stage. What else? I'm not a doctor. I'm not a chemist. I'm a radio host trying to make sense of fragments of information that don't want to fit together into a coherent picture. And I'm aware that every second I spend on air talking about this without clear answers is potentially scaring people. But what's the alternative? Pretend nothing's happening? Play music and give traffic updates while something unknown unfolds at one of our hospitals? No, we stay with this. We process it together. We wait for answers together. It's 12:44. I'm going to try calling the hospital again myself. Maybe if I identify as press, someone will pick up. Emily's already tried that approach, but it's worth another attempt. I'm dialing the main number. It's ringing. 4 rings. 5, 6. This is usually where voicemail picks up or an operator answers. 10 rings now. 12. I'm going to let it ring for a full minute and see what happens. 20 rings. 30. Nobody's answering. The system is active because it's ringing, which means the phone infrastructure is working at some level. But no human is picking up. At a major hospital switchboard, that should never happen. There are always operators, multiple people covering the phones around the clock. For every line to go unanswered suggests either everyone has been evacuated from that department, or they physically cannot answer, or they've been instructed not to, which seems unlikely because hospitals need to communicate with emergency services. 40 rings. I'm hanging up. This is pointless. Emily tells me our traffic reporter, Jack, is trying to get closer to the hospital on foot. The police perimeter is holding firm, but he's attempting to interview some of the people who've been turned away. Maybe they've heard something from the officers, or maybe some of them have connections inside and have gotten calls or texts. Any piece of information helps at this point. The live stream chat is exploding with comments. People asking what's happening, sharing their own concerns, some claiming to have information, but it's all third and fourth hand. Someone says their cousin is a paramedic and heard it's a chemical leak. Someone else says their neighbor is a police officer and it's a hostage situation. Another claims it's a terrorist attack. None of these match what we're hearing about hazmat suits and violence. Hostage situation would explain the perimeter and the police response, but it wouldn't explain hazmat suits unless the hostage takers had some kind of biological or chemical weapon. That seems far-fetched, but I suppose it's possible. Chemical leak would explain hazmat suits and could explain the perimeter if the leak was severe enough. But it doesn't explain reports of violence unless the chemical causes behavioral changes, which brings us back to neurotoxin. Terrorist attack could be anything. It's too vague to be useful as a theory. I'm reminded of a principle I learned in journalism school. When you hear hoofbeats, think horses, not zebras. In other words, common explanations are more likely than exotic ones. What's the common explanation here? An incident at a hospital requiring emergency response. Could be a fire, could be a structural failure, could be a violent patient or visitor. These things happen, unfortunately. They're tragic when they do, but they're known quantities. We have procedures for them, but the specific combination of details we're hearing doesn't fit any of the common patterns. It's like hearing hoofbeats, but also seeing stripes. Sometimes zebras are real. It's 1:03. I just realized we've been on this story for almost an hour and a half, and I haven't taken a single break. No commercials, no station identification, no weather updates. Just continuous coverage of a developing situation that we barely understand. Management is going to have words with me about this, but I don't care. This is what the medium is for. Radio at its best is immediate, responsive, intimate. It's a voice in the dark saying you're not alone, I'm here with you, we'll get through this together. And right now people need that. I can feel it. The calls we're getting, the messages Emily's screening, the comments on the live stream, people are scared and confused, and they're turning to us for answers we don't have. But at least we can acknowledge their fear. At least we can say, yes, something strange is happening, and we don't understand it yet either. And that's okay. Uncertainty is uncomfortable, but it's not catastrophic. Not yet, anyway. Emily's holding up her phone. Jack sent photos. She's showing them to me. The first image shows the police perimeter from Jack's perspective, about 2 blocks from the hospital entrance. There are at least a dozen police vehicles, cruisers and SUVs, parked at angles to block the street. Officers in regular uniforms are standing behind the vehicles, not actively doing anything, just maintaining the line. Several people are visible in the background, presumably folks who've been turned away, some talking to officers, some just standing there looking confused or worried. The second photo is more interesting. It's zoomed in on the hospital building itself, and you can see the emergency entrance. There are definitely people in hazmat suits moving around, 4 of them visible in this shot. They're not rushing, which is odd. If there was an active emergency, you'd expect urgency. These people look almost methodical, like they're following a careful protocol rather than responding to chaos. The third photo shows an ambulance at the emergency entrance. The back doors are open. Someone in a hazmat suit is standing at the doors, but they're not unloading a patient. They're just standing there, waiting, maybe, or guarding the ambulance. It's impossible to tell from a still image. Jack's text says he tried to ask one of the officers what's happening, and the officer told him to stay back and wait for the official statement. Jack asked if people inside are safe, and the officer said he doesn't have that information. Jack asked if the perimeter might expand, if people in nearby buildings should evacuate, and the officer said there's no evacuation order at this time. That phrase again, at this time. It's 1:14. The official statement was supposed to come within an hour, according to what the public information officer told Emily earlier. That hour has passed. Still nothing. I'm going to be honest about what I'm feeling right now. I'm frustrated, I'm worried, I'm confused, and underneath all of that, there's a small but growing sense of dread that I can't quite justify, but also can't shake. It's like standing on the beach and feeling the water suddenly recede. That strange moment before you realize what's coming. Everything looks calm on the surface, but the patterns are wrong. We're getting more calls. Emily's fielding them as fast as she can, but our lines have never been this busy. Everyone wants to know what's happening. Some people have connections to the hospital, patients, or staff. Some are just concerned citizens. A few are angry, demanding to know why we don't have answers, as if it's our fault that information is being withheld. One caller, Emily, just spoke with claims to have received a text from her husband who works maintenance at Mercy General. The text came through about 20 minutes ago, she says. It was just 2 words, stay away. She's been trying to call him back ever since, but he's not answering. She drove to the hospital and was stopped at the perimeter. Police told her the facility is on lockdown and nobody can enter or leave. She asked if her husband was safe, and they said they didn't have information about individual people inside. Stay away. That's a warning. That's someone seeing something bad enough to tell their loved one to avoid this place. What would make a maintenance worker, someone presumably familiar with all kinds of hospital situations, send that message? Another caller spoke with Emily about her son, a resident physician in the pediatric wing. He called her around noon, right when this all seemed to be starting. He told her there was some kind of disturbance on one of the lower floors. Security was responding, and everyone was being told to shelter in place. He said he'd call her back when he knew more. That was over an hour ago. She hasn't heard from him since. Shelter in place, that's protocol for active shooter situations or external threats. It means lock your doors, stay quiet, wait for authorities. It's not protocol for chemical leaks or equipment malfunction. This supports the theory that there's a direct threat inside the building, something or someone dangerous. But hazmat suits don't fit that narrative. You don't wear biohazard protection for an active shooter, unless the shooter has some kind of biological weapon. But that's getting into terrorism territory. And while it's possible, it seems unlikely. Our city isn't a major target. We're medium-sized, Midwestern, not particularly strategic or symbolic. I keep coming back to the robots. I know it sounds absurd. Robots don't attack people. They're machines, programmed for specific tasks, governed by safety protocols. But what if something in the programming broke? What if a malfunction caused them to behave erratically? A cleaning robot with chemical sprayers could be dangerous if it started spraying people instead of floors. A delivery robot moving at high speed could injure someone in a collision, but that still doesn't explain hazmat suits or the scale of the response. You could shut down the robots, unplug them, override them from the central system. This feels bigger than a malfunction. Emily's on her phone again. She's talking fast, scribbling notes on a pad. I can see her hand shaking slightly as she writes. She hangs up and brings the pad over to me. I'm going to read what she wrote. Friend at 911 dispatch. Multiple calls from Mercy General stopped about 30 minutes ago. Last calls were panicked. Screaming in background. One caller said people are biting. Dispatch supervisor shut down call recording and told operators to log calls as medical emergency with no details. Told not to discuss with anyone. People are biting. That doesn't make sense. That's not a symptom of chemical exposure or a side effect of neurotoxins. That's not how people behave even under extreme stress or fear. Biting is animalistic, primal. It's what rabid animals do, not humans in a hospital, unless it's rabies. But rabies doesn't spread that fast. It incubates over weeks or months, not hours. And even if somehow multiple people inside had rabies, which is statistically near impossible, the hospital staff would recognize it and treat it. You don't lock down a facility and establish perimeters for rabies cases. You isolate the patients and administer post-exposure prophylaxis to anyone who might have been exposed. My mind is racing through possibilities and rejecting each one as quickly as I think of it. Rabies, no. Bath salts or some other drug causing aggression, but how would multiple people in a hospital suddenly be on the same drug? Mass psychosis, but that's gradual and doesn't explain physical violence. Prion disease, but that's even slower than rabies and doesn't cause this kind of behavior. What causes people to bite other people? Extreme mental illness in very rare cases. Certain drugs, like I mentioned, rage disorders, but again, multiple people simultaneously. Nothing fit. It's 1:37. I need to make a decision here. Do I share this information about people biting on air? It's secondhand from a 911 dispatcher who was told not to talk about it. It's not confirmed by any official source, but it's specific and disturbing enough that it might be important for people to know. If I share it, I risk causing panic over what might turn out to be misheard or misinterpreted information. If I don't share it and it's real, I'm withholding potentially crucial information from people who might need to protect themselves. I'm going to split the difference. I'll mention that we're hearing reports of concerning behavior inside the hospital without getting into graphic details. I'll emphasize that these are unconfirmed reports and we're waiting for official statement. I'll advise caution for anyone in the area of the hospital. Okay, deep breath. Here we go. If you're just joining us, we're following a developing situation at Mercy General Hospital. The facility is on lockdown. Police have established a perimeter, and emergency services have been disrupted. We're hearing reports of some kind of incident inside the building that involves concerning behavior by people inside. I want to stress that these reports are not confirmed by official sources and we're working to verify information as we receive it. If you live or work near Mercy General, please exercise caution and follow any instructions from law enforcement. If you have family or friends at the hospital, I know this is an incredibly stressful time. We're doing everything we can to get answers. The authorities have promised a statement and we're still waiting for that. When it comes, we'll bring it to you immediately. In the meantime, I want to address something I've noticed in the calls and messages we're receiving. There's a lot of speculation, a lot of theories being shared. That's natural. Humans are pattern-seeking creatures. When we encounter uncertainty, we try to fill it with explanation. But I'm asking you, please be cautious about spreading unverified information. Share what you know for certain. Say when you're guessing. Distinguish between facts and assumptions. Rumors can be as dangerous as the truth sometimes, especially in situations like this. Emily is nodding at me. She's been thinking the same thing. The online chatter has gotten wild in the past hour, everything from government experiments to supernatural explanations. People are scared, and scared people reach for dramatic narratives. It's 1:49. Our live stream viewer count has tripled since we started covering this. Word is spreading. People are tuning in because we're one of the few sources actively following the story in real time. Local TV news has mentioned it in passing, but they're not dedicating continuous coverage the way we are. The newspaper's website has a brief article that was posted about half an hour ago, but it's just a rehash of the basic facts we already know. Radio is an advantage in breaking situations like this. We can respond immediately, stay live indefinitely, adapt as information changes. TV requires cameras, production, coordination. Print requires writing, editing, publishing. Radio requires only a microphone and someone willing to speak. So here I am, still speaking, still waiting. Jack texted Emily again. He managed to interview someone who was at the hospital this morning visiting a family member. They were in the building when the lockdown started. Security guards came through the waiting areas and told everyone to evacuate immediately. No explanation, just get out now. This person said the guards looked terrified. Not concerned, not worried, terrified. They were practically running through the halls, shouting for people to leave. The person said as they were leaving through a side exit, they heard screaming from deeper in the building. Not pain screaming, they clarified, like anger screaming, rage. They ran to their car and drove away. They were stopped at the perimeter on their way out and questioned briefly by police, but then allowed to leave. Rage screaming, biting, violent behavior. This is painting a picture of something I don't want to believe. Something that doesn't fit into any rational framework. No, I'm not going there. That's ridiculous. That's Hollywood fiction, not reality. But what if? No. Stop. There are always rational explanations. Always. The universe operates according to laws. Biology follows patterns. Chemistry obeys rules. Whatever is happening at Mercy General has a scientific explanation, even if we don't know it yet. I'm trying to convince myself as much as I'm trying to convince you. It's 2:06. Still no official statement. The promised hour has long passed. That delay is telling. Either the situation is evolving too rapidly for them to make a definitive statement, or what they've discovered is so unprecedented that they're struggling with how to communicate it. Emily tells me she's been monitoring emergency services radio traffic. Our station has a scanner that picks up police and fire department communications. It's usually boring, routine stuff, traffic stops, and medical calls. But right now, the traffic related to Mercy General is heavy and cryptic. Units are being told to maintain the perimeter. A request for additional hazmat equipment was denied. Someone saying they're prioritizing resources. Reference to a code Emily doesn't recognize, something called Code Wildfire. She's never heard that before, and she's been listening to these channels for years. Code Wildfire. That sounds like something that spreads rapidly and uncontrollably. Fire-related codes usually refer to conflagration scenarios, things getting out of hand fast. If they're using that term for whatever is happening at the hospital, it suggests they're worried about spread. But spread of what? The contamination theory keeps coming back. Something got into the hospital environment, affected people inside, and now they're trying to contain it before it gets out. The hazmat suits protect the responders. The perimeter keeps contaminated people from leaving and exposing others. The lockdown prevents new people from entering and getting exposed. But contamination doesn't explain biting. It doesn't explain rage. Unless the contaminant is something we've never seen before, something that affects the brain in ways we don't understand yet. I'm going to share a thought with you, and I want you to hear it as the raw speculation it is. What if something experimental escaped? What if Mercy General, as part of their modernization initiative, was testing some new medical technology or pharmaceutical and it went wrong. Clinical trials, research studies, experimental treatments happen at major hospitals all the time. Most are safe and carefully controlled, but occasionally, very occasionally, something unexpected happens. A drug trial where the medication has unforeseen neurological effects. A gene therapy experiment where the modification spreads beyond intended targets. A nanotechnology project where the particles behave differently in living systems than in the lab. I'm not saying this is what happened. I'm saying it's a framework that could potentially explain the bizarre combination of symptoms we're hearing about. Altered behavior, aggression, rapid onset, multiple victims, an experimental vector, possibly viral or bacterial, designed to be delivered throughout the hospital via those autonomous robots as part of a trial, but something in the protocol failed. It sounds like science fiction, I know, but we live in an age where science fiction and science fact are closer together than ever before. CRISPR gene editing, mRNA vaccines, artificial intelligence, autonomous systems. We're doing things that would have been considered impossible 20 years ago. And with that power comes risk. Emily's shaking her head at me. She thinks I'm going too far with speculation. She might be right. I might be connecting dots that don't connect, building a narrative where none exists, because that's less frightening than admitting I have no idea what's happening. The truth is, I'm scared. I don't say that often. I try to maintain composure, provide steady presence. But I'm human, and this situation is deeply unsettling. The lack of information, the contradictory details, the official silence. It all adds up to something wrong in a way I can't articulate. It's 2:23, my phone is buzzing. Text message from an unknown number. I'm going to read it to you. This is Dr. Patricia Hammond. I work at Mercy General. I'm hiding in a supply closet on the 3rd floor. I don't know if anyone will get this message. The things that used to be patients are killing people. They're not human anymore. They bite, and then you become one of them. It started in post-op recovery this morning. The robots brought morning medications, but something was wrong with the injections. People started seizing, stopped breathing, then got back up. But they weren't alive. Not really. They spread through the floor within minutes. Security tried to stop them, but got bitten. Then security became them. It's spreading through the whole hospital. I can hear them in the hallways, scratching at doors, making these sounds like choking and growling at the same time. My phone battery is at 50. If someone reads this, tell my daughter I love her. Tell her I'm sorry. Don't come here. Don't let anyone out. Burn it down if you have to. Just stop it from spreading. The message ends there. I'm sitting here staring at my phone screen, reading and rereading these words, and my brain is refusing to process them. This can't be real. This has to be a hoax. Someone saw our coverage, decided to mess with us, sent a fake message designed to scare us or go viral. But the number, Emily's already trying to reverse look up it, and the details. Post-op recovery. The robots brought morning medications. Those are specific. Those are consistent with the timeline and the systems we know the hospital uses. The things that used to be patients. They bite, and then you become one of them. Now? Absolutely not. That's zombie movie logic, not reality. People don't die and reanimate. That violates every principle of biology. Once the brain stops functioning, it doesn't restart. Dead tissue doesn't move. This is fiction, not fact. But what if they're not dead? What if it's a pathogen that mimics death, shuts down higher brain functions but keeps the brainstem active? Something that overrides conscious control and leaves only base instincts, fight or flight responses amplified into pure aggression. Rabies does something like that in animals. It hijacks the brain, increases aggression, causes the compulsion to bite to spread the virus. But rabies takes weeks to progress, and it doesn't cause death and reanimation. Cordyceps fungus does something similar in insects, takes over their nervous system, controls their behavior, makes them climb to high places where the fungus can spread its spores. But that's insects, not humans. Different nervous systems entirely. What about prions, misfolded proteins that spread through tissue, causing degenerative brain disease? Mad cow disease, Kuru in humans from cannibalism, Creutzfeldt to Kak disease. But prions work slowly, over months or years, and they cause dementia and loss of motor control, not violence. Is there any pathogen, any toxin, any chemical that could cause rapid neurological shutdown, followed by aggressive reanimation? I don't know of one, but that doesn't mean one couldn't exist. Nature is full of things we haven't discovered yet. Labs create new compounds every day. The intersection of what's possible and what we understand is not a complete circle. Emily got information on the phone number. It's registered to a Patricia Hammond. She's cross-referencing with the hospital directory now. Yes, there's a Dr. Patricia Hammond listed as an attending physician in the surgical department at Mercy General. Graduated from a medical school in Boston, been practicing for 14 years, specializes in trauma surgery. This might be real. If this is real, we have a responsibility to share it. But if we share it, we're telling people that the dead are walking around a hospital attacking the living, and that sounds insane. It sounds like we've lost our minds, or someone is pranking us, or we've stumbled into alternate reality. But if it's real and we don't share it, we're withholding critical information. People have family in that building, people live near that building. If there's even a chance this message is genuine, they need to know. I need to think. I need a minute to process. It's 2:34. I've been on air for over 3 hours. I haven't eaten. I haven't stepped away from this microphone. The coffee Emily brought me has gone cold, unfinished. My hands are shaking slightly from adrenaline and caffeine and stress. Okay, decision time. I'm going to share the message. I'm going to preface it very clearly as an unverified text from someone claiming to be inside the hospital. I'm going to read it verbatim, and then I'm going to let people draw their own conclusions while we continue trying to get official confirmation. Here's why. If this is a hoax, we'll figure that out soon enough, and I'll apologize for the error. But if it's real, every second matters. People deserve to know what might be happening so they can make informed decisions about their safety, right? Doing this now. We've received a text message from someone claiming to be Dr. Patricia Hammond, an attending physician at Mercy General Hospital. We've verified that a doctor by that name does work there. The message is disturbing, and I want to warn you before I read it that it contains descriptions of violence and makes claims that seem impossible. We cannot verify the accuracy of this information, but given the source and the ongoing situation, I believe you have a right to hear it. I'm reading the message now exactly as received. I read it, all of it, every word. And now it's out there, transmitted across the airwaves, heard by thousands of people, recorded for anyone who wants to replay it. Emily looks like she's going to be sick. I probably look the same. The phone lines have exploded. Every line lit up simultaneously. People demanding answers. People calling us crazy, people saying they knew something like this would happen eventually, people praying, people cursing. Emily can't keep up. She's just letting them ring now. The live stream chat has gone absolutely wild. Thousands of messages scrolling past too fast to read. The viewer count is surging. News of this message is spreading beyond our immediate audience. People are sharing clips, recording the broadcast, posting on social media, and still no official statement from the authorities. If this message is genuine, and I'm starting to believe it might be, then the silence from official sources makes sense in a horrible way. What do you say? How do you tell a city that the impossible is happening? That a hospital is full of people who died and came back wrong, attacking anyone they can reach? How do you maintain order while delivering that news? You can't. You buy time, you establish perimeters, you bring in specialized resources, you try to contain the situation before the public catches on, and you hope to God you can solve it before you have to admit what's really happening. But now we've broken that silence. Whether the authorities wanted this public or not, it's public now. The message is out. People know, or at least they know someone inside claims this is happening. The consequences of that are going to ripple outward fast. It's 2:49. My phone is ringing. Unknown number, different from the one that sent the text. I'm answering. Hello. Mr. Rothman, this is Commander Lewis Pritchard with the City Police Department. I need you to stop broadcasting information about the Mercy General situation immediately. Commander, people have a right to know what's happening. You're creating a public safety hazard. The information you just shared is unverified and inflammatory. You're going to cause panic. Is it untrue? Silence on the line. Commander, is the information untrue? I can't discuss operational details of an ongoing incident. That's not a denial. Mr. Rothman, I'm asking you as a courtesy to cease your coverage until we can provide an official briefing. We're working on getting information to the public, but it needs to be coordinated. When will that briefing happen? Within the next hour. You said that 2 hours ago. The situation is evolving. We need to be certain of the facts before we communicate them. People are trapped in that building, Commander. Their families deserve to know what's happening to them, and we're working to resolve the situation. Broadcasting unverified claims isn't helping anyone. I received that message from someone inside. A doctor. She's terrified and hiding. Whether you confirm it or not, that's newsworthy. You're playing with fire, Mr. Rothman. I strongly advise you to reconsider your approach. Are people in danger? Not just inside the hospital, but outside. Should residents in the area evacuate? Another pause. There is no evacuation order at this time. but you're considering it. I'm not going to discuss hypothetical scenarios. Please, for the safety of everyone, wait for the official briefing. I'll consider it, Commander, but I need something from you. Is Dr. Patricia Hammond safe? I don't have information on specific individuals inside the facility. Can you at least tell me if you've received similar reports from other people inside? Reports of violent incidents, unusual behavior? I can't comment on that. Can't or won't, both. This conversation is over, Mr. Rothman. I hope you make the right choice. He hung up. Emily heard my side of the conversation. She's looking at me with wide eyes. Are you going to stop? No. They'll shut us down. On what grounds? We're reporting information we've received. We're not violating any laws. Broadcasting licenses can't be revoked on a whim. They could find a way if they wanted to. Then they'll have to find a way. I'm not going silent when people need information. She nods. Okay. Then I'm with you. I love this woman. Not romantically. She's like a sister to me. But in this moment, I love her for her courage. She could walk out. This isn't her fight. She's an assistant, not a journalist. But she's staying. It's 3:08. I'm going to address what just happened. I just received a call from Commander Lewis Pritchard of the City Police Department. He asked me to stop broadcasting about the Mercy General situation. He said we're creating a public safety hazard and should wait for an official briefing. I told him I would consider it, but I need to be honest with you about my decision. I'm not stopping. Here's why. This station has a responsibility to inform the public, especially during emergencies. We're not creating danger by reporting what we've learned. The danger exists whether we talk about it or not. What we're doing is giving you information so you can make informed decisions. If you live near Mercy General, you now know there may be a serious threat. You can choose to leave the area, secure your home, prepare for possible disruption. Without information, you can't make those choices. If you have family at the hospital, you now know they may be in grave danger. That's horrible to hear, I know. But it's better than false reassurance or silence that prevents you from taking action. The authorities will likely be angry with me for this. I understand their position. They want to control information to prevent panic. But I believe panic is a risk worth taking when the alternative is ignorance. Informed people can protect themselves. Ignorant people are helpless, so we continue. And if they shut us down, well, we'll have done what we could for as long as we could. Emily's monitoring social media. The message from Dr. Hammond is everywhere now. People are dissecting it, analyzing it, debating it. Some think it's real. Some think it's an elaborate hoax. Some are talking about conspiracy theories. The official Mercy General Hospital social media accounts are being flooded with questions and demands for answers. Still nothing from the authorities beyond the promise of a briefing that keeps getting delayed. Jack texted Emily. He says the perimeter is being expanded. Police are now pushing people back another 3 blocks from the hospital. He estimates at least 50 law enforcement vehicles on scene now, maybe more. He's also seeing military vehicles arriving, National Guard maybe, big trucks, personnel carriers, people in military uniforms setting up equipment. Military involvement. That escalates this significantly. Local police handle normal emergencies. State resources get involved for major disasters. Military deployment means something beyond local and state capacity. It means a potential threat to public order or safety on a scale that civilian authorities can't manage alone. Or it means containment. Military has resources for quarantine situations, for biological threats, for scenarios where you need to establish a hard perimeter and prevent movement in or out. If what Dr. Hammond described is happening, the military would be the logical response. You'd need people trained in combat operations, not just law enforcement. You'd need weapons and discipline and the ability to make hard choices. I'm dancing around saying something clearly. Let me just say it. If there are people inside Mercy General who have become violently aggressive, who are attacking others and spreading whatever caused their condition through bites, then lethal force may be necessary. Police are trained to subdue and arrest. Military is trained to neutralize threats. The distinction matters. That's a dark thought. I hope I'm wrong. I hope this is all a terrible misunderstanding and the military is here for logistical support, managing traffic, or setting up triage stations or something benign. But in my gut, I don't believe that. It's 3:26. I need to drink some water. My throat is getting dry from talking continuously. Emily's bringing me a bottle. I'm taking a long drink. The water is room temperature and tastes faintly of plastic, but it's better than nothing. The station manager just called Emily. He's been monitoring our broadcast from home. He's concerned. He wants to know if we've confirmed the Hammond message. Emily told him we've verified the doctor exists and works at the hospital, but we can't confirm the content of her message. He asked if we're prepared for potential legal or regulatory consequences. Emily said yes. He told her to keep him informed and said he supports us continuing for now but wants to be consulted if they receive any more explosive information. I appreciate that. He could have ordered us to stop. He could have pulled the plug remotely. Instead, he's trusting our judgment. That means something. We're getting reports from listeners near the hospital perimeter. Several people have called or texted saying they can hear gunfire. Not continuous, just occasional shots. Single shots, sometimes pairs. Methodical, not panicked, like people taking careful aim rather than spraying bullets. Gunfire at a hospital. I've never had to say those words before. They don't belong together. Hospitals are places of healing, safety, sterility. The idea of bullets being fired in those halls, blood on those clean floors, violence in those rooms designed for care is deeply wrong at a visceral level. But if what we've heard is true, violence has already invaded that space. The gunfire might be the response, the attempt to contain something worse. Emily just got a message from another contact, someone who works at St. Catherine's Hospital across town. They're receiving patients from Mercy General, but not many. Only 3 so far. All came in via ambulance, all in critical condition, all with severe bite wounds. The staff at St. Catherine's were told these patients are under quarantine, isolated from other patients, treated with full biohazard protocols. Nobody's explaining why. The ambulance crews who brought them are also in quarantine, being observed for symptoms. Symptoms of what? Nobody will say. 3 patients out of hundreds who were likely at Mercy General. What happened to everyone else? Where are the other victims, the other survivors? Why only 3? Unless 3 is all they managed to evacuate before the situation became too dangerous. Unless everyone else is still inside, either hiding like Dr. Hammond or turned into whatever those patients became. I keep trying to find a rational explanation that doesn't involve reanimated corpses, but I'm running out of options. The evidence is pointing towards something unprecedented, something that shouldn't be possible according to everything we understand about biology and death and the human body. What if we're witnessing the beginning of something catastrophic? Not just a hospital incident, but the emergence of a new disease, a new pathogen, something that could spread beyond Mercy General if not contained. That's probably what the authorities are thinking. That's why the perimeter, the hazmat suits, the military response, the information lockdown, they're not just managing a crisis, they're trying to prevent an outbreak. It's 3:41. I'm looking at Emily and she's looking at me and we're both thinking the same thing. This is bigger than we realized. This isn't a story we're covering, this is history unfolding in real time, and we're witnesses to the first chapter. My daughter, my ex-wife, they live on the west side of the city, miles from the hospital. They should be safe, but should I call them? Tell them to prepare. Stock up on supplies, maybe leave the city entirely? I'm overthinking. One hospital incident doesn't mean citywide danger, but that's the thing about unprecedented situations. You don't know what's reasonable caution and what's overreaction because there's no precedent to guide you. I'll call after the broadcast, make sure they're aware, suggest they stay informed, tell them I love them. That's all I can do. Jack is sending more photos. The military presence is substantial now. He counts at least 6 large trucks, multiple Humvees, what looks like a mobile command center, soldiers in full combat gear, rifles at the ready, establishing positions around the perimeter. This isn't for show. This is a combat deployment in the middle of our city. One of the photos shows something being unloaded from a truck. Large tanks, hoses, equipment I don't recognize. Emily thinks it might be decontamination equipment or fuel for something. It's hard to tell from the image. Another photo shows medical personnel in hazmat suits entering one of the military vehicles. Maybe going in for a briefing, or maybe they're the ones who'll enter the hospital to assess the situation from the inside. I can't imagine volunteering for that. Walking into a building where people have reportedly gone insane and violent, not knowing what you'll find or if you'll make it out. That takes extraordinary courage or extraordinary sense of duty or both. It's 3:53. The promised briefing should be coming soon if they're going to keep their timeline. I'm going to wait for it before I say much more. We've put a lot out there in the past hours. It's time to see if any of it gets confirmed or denied by official sources. Emily's getting coffee for both of us. Real coffee this time, freshly made. I can hear the machine gurgling in the break room down the hall. The normalcy of that sound is almost jarring against the backdrop of everything else happening. Her station is in a commercial district surrounded by office buildings and restaurants and shops. Most are still operating normally. People going about their days unaware or only vaguely aware of what's happening across town. Life continues even as somewhere else life is ending. That's always been true. But it's stark when you're conscious of it. Someone is walking to their car right now thinking about what to make for dinner. Someone is sitting in a meeting, bored, checking their phone. Someone is buying groceries, debating between brands of cereal, and 8 blocks from here, inside Mercy General Hospital, people are dying or worse. The dissonance is overwhelming if you let yourself feel it, so you can't. You compartmentalize. You focus on what's in front of you. You keep broadcasting because that's your job and your purpose, and the only thing you can control. Emily's back with coffee. It's hot and strong and exactly what I need. I'm taking a long sip, feeling the warmth spread through me. For just a moment, I close my eyes and let myself be here. Just here, not in the hospital or the perimeter or the speculation about what comes next. Just here, drinking coffee, sitting in a chair, alive and safe. The moment passes. Back to work. It's 4:07. My phone is buzzing again. Another text from the number that sent the Hammond message. I'm opening it. Battery dying. Things are in the hallways. I can hear them outside the door. I think they know I'm here. They're persistent. They don't get tired or give up. One has been scratching at the door for 10 minutes straight. Just scratching. Over and over. The sound is driving me insane. I tried calling 911, but nobody answered. I tried calling hospital security, but the internal lines are dead. I'm alone. Everyone who is on this floor is either dead or one of them now. I watched through the door window as they took down a security guard. He was bitten on the arm and he kept fighting for a minute, then he just stopped, collapsed. I thought he was dead, but after maybe 30 seconds he got back up. But it wasn't him anymore. His eyes were different, empty but also focused. He looked right at me through the window and started coming toward the door. I ducked down so he couldn't see me anymore. That was 15 minutes ago. I don't think this door will hold much longer. They're getting more aggressive, throwing themselves against it. The lock is sturdy but not meant for this kind of stress. If I don't make it out, please make sure my daughter knows I fought. I didn't just give up. I'm going to try to reach the stairwell at the end of the hall. It's about 30 feet from this door. If I can get there, maybe I can make it to the ground floor and out. It's a stupid plan. They'll catch me. But sitting here waiting to die is worse. I'm going in 2 minutes. If you don't hear from me again, you'll know what happened. Don't let this spread. Whatever it takes, don't let it get out of the hospital. Burn the whole building if you have to. Just stop it. The message ends. 2 minutes? She sent that 7 minutes ago. She's already gone. She's either made it to the stairwell or she's been caught. We won't know which unless we get another message, and I don't think we will. I'm reading the message on air, every word. People need to hear this. The urgency, the desperation, the clarity of someone who knows they're probably going to die but is taking action anyway. Emily is crying quietly. She's trying to hold it together, but tears are streaming down her face. I reach over and squeeze her shoulder. She nods, wipes her eyes, keeps working. Professional even in emotional collapse. I've never been prouder of anyone. The live stream is capturing all of this, by the way. Not just my words, but Emily's reaction, my own visible stress, the raw humanity of people dealing with horror in real time. I wonder if that's good or bad. Maybe both. Maybe neither. Maybe it just is. It's 4:19. Jack called Emily's cell. He says there's movement at the perimeter. The military is preparing for something. Soldiers are loading weapons, checking gear, forming into units. Officers are briefing them, pointing at maps and diagrams. It looks like they're about to go in. An assault on the hospital. That's what this is. They're going to enter by force, probably multiple entry points, attempt to neutralize whatever threat is inside. It's the only way to end this if containment isn't enough. I hope the people still alive inside are ready. I hope they're sheltered in secure locations where they won't be mistaken for threats. I hope the soldiers can distinguish between victims and aggressors, between the living and whatever the afflicted have become. That's a lot of hope, probably more than the situation warrants. We're going to stay live during this. Whatever happens in the next minutes or hours, we're going to be here reporting what we can see and hear and verify. This is what we signed up for, Emily and I. Not literally, not this specifically, but in the broader sense of being voices during crisis, providing continuity when everything else is fragmenting. The coffee has gone cold again. I don't care. I'm drinking it anyway. It's 4:26. Gunfire. Lots of it. Not occasional shots anymore, but sustained firing. Automatic weapons by the sound of it, though it's distant enough that I can barely hear it even with my window open. Jack is texting that the sound is deafening near the perimeter. Multiple entry points, he thinks. Teams going in simultaneously. This is it. Whatever happens inside that building in the next minutes will determine whether this situation is contained or whether it spreads. I'm imagining soldiers moving through hospital corridors, clearing rooms, encountering things they weren't trained for. Things that used to be doctors, nurses, patients, visitors. Things that look human but act like predators. The psychological toll of that, of having to shoot people who are already dead or dying, who look at you with empty eyes and lunge without fear or hesitation. I'm imagining the people still hiding inside, hearing the gunfire get closer, not knowing if it's rescue or danger. Dr. Hammond, if she's still alive, crouched in a stairwell or closet or locked room, hoping the soldiers find her before the others do. I'm imagining the afflicted themselves, if they have any remnant of awareness. Are they conscious of what they've become? Are they trapped inside their own bodies, screaming silently as they attack people they once cared for? Or is the human part completely gone, replaced by something purely instinctual and monstrous? I don't know which would be worse. The gunfire continues. Emily's getting updates from multiple sources now. People near the hospital reporting the sounds of combat, explosions, glass breaking. One person says they saw a body fall from an upper floor window. Can't tell if it jumped or was pushed or fell accidentally. Just a shape tumbling through air, then impact, then stillness. It's 4:39. The gunfire is slowing, not stopped, but less intense. Either they're winning or they're regrouping. No way to know from here. My hands won't stop shaking. I'm pressing them flat against the desk to steady them. Emily sees and doesn't comment. She's shaking too. I should eat something. I haven't eaten since before the show started. That was breakfast at 7, some toast and eggs. Almost 10 hours ago. My body is running on adrenaline and caffeine and nothing else. But the thought of food makes my stomach turn. Later. I'll eat late. The phone. It's ringing. The station line, not my personal cell. Emily answers, puts it on speaker so I can hear. 104.7 FM, this is Emily. This is Colonel Andrew Masterson, National Guard. I need to speak with Daniel Rothman immediately. Emily points at me. I lean toward the speaker. This is Rothman. Mr. Rothman, I'm calling to inform you that we're issuing a citywide emergency alert in approximately 5 minutes. I wanted you to hear it from us first, given your coverage of the situation. I appreciate that, Colonel. What's the alert going to say? All residents within a 2-mile radius of Mercy General Hospital are ordered to shelter in place immediately. Lock doors and windows. Stay away from exterior walls. Do not leave your location for any reason unless directly instructed by authorities. This order is effective immediately and will remain in place until further notice. 2 miles. That's a huge area. How many people are we talking about? Approximately 15,000 residents plus businesses and workers in the district. What's the threat? What are they sheltering from? I can't provide specifics at this time. Colonel, I've been broadcasting for hours about what might be happening in that hospital. People deserve to know what they're facing. A pause. Mr. Rothman, I've been made aware of your coverage. Some of what you've reported is accurate. Some is speculation. I'm not here to confirm or deny the details. What I can tell you is that we have a containment situation that requires civilian cooperation. The shelter-in-place order is precautionary but essential. Precautionary because something might escape the hospital. Precautionary because we're conducting operations that require civilians to remain indoors for their own safety. That's not an answer. It's the answer I'm authorized to give. The full briefing will come after the situation is stabilized. When will that be? Unknown. Could be hours. Could be longer. Are people inside the hospital still alive? Another pause, longer this time. We're doing everything we can to preserve life, Mr. Rothman. That's all I can say. One more question. Dr. Patricia Hammond, can you tell me if she's been found? I don't have information on specific individuals. I'm sorry. She's been texting me from inside. She was trying to escape when we last heard from her. If your people find her, please get her to safety. I'll note that, Mr. Rothman. I need to go. The alert is going out in 3 minutes. I suggest you inform your listeners to follow the instructions. We will. Thank you for the courtesy of calling, Colonel. Stay safe, Mr. Rothman. He hangs up. 3 minutes. I'm going to use them. Attention all listeners, this is critical information. The National Guard is issuing a citywide emergency alert in approximately 3 minutes. If you live or work within 2 miles of Mercy General Hospital, you are being ordered to shelter in place immediately. That means lock your doors and windows, stay away from exterior walls, and do not leave your location unless directly instructed by authorities. This is not a drill. This is an official emergency order. If you're not in that area, please stay informed but remain calm. Follow instructions from authorities. Do not approach the hospital district. Do not spread rumors or unverified information. Emily and I will continue broadcasting from our location, which is outside the 2-mile radius but close enough to monitor the situation. We'll keep you updated as we learn more. The emergency alert is about to sound. If you hear it, don't panic. It's a warning system designed to reach everyone quickly. Follow the instructions and stay sheltered until the all clear is given. It's 4:43. The alert should be going out now. My phone is blaring. Emergency alert tone, that harsh, jarring sound designed to grab attention. The screen shows the message, emergency alert, shelter in place ordered for all locations within 2 miles of Mercy General Hospital. Lock doors and windows. Stay away from exterior walls. Await further instructions. This is an official emergency order. Emily's phone is doing the same. Probably every phone in the city is screaming right now. Probably panic is setting in for thousands of people who are just now realizing something serious is happening. The gunfire has stopped. Complete silence from the direction of the hospital. That's somehow more unsettling than the shooting. Did they clear the building? Did they pull back? Did something go wrong? I'm trying to call Colonel Masterson back, but the number he called from goes to a generic military voicemail. No help there. Jack texted. He's sheltering in his car, which is about 3 blocks from the hospital, right at the edge of the 2-mile zone. He says he can see the perimeter clearly. Soldiers are maintaining positions, but they're not moving in or out of the hospital. Everything is static. Wait for what? An order? A signal? Something to emerge? It's 4:51. 20 minutes since the assault started. The silence is stretching out. Emily's monitoring social media, emergency services, radio, local news broadcasts. Nobody knows more than we do. Everyone is speculating, sharing the same fragments of information we have, amplifying the fear and uncertainty. This is the worst part, the waiting. Action I can handle. I can report on events as they happen, synthesize information, provide context, but this vacuum of information, this enforced pause where nothing is happening or nothing is visible, it's maddening. I'm going to take a short break, just 5 minutes to use the restroom, splash water on my face, try to reset. Emily will hold down the fort. If anything happens, she'll come get me. I stand up from the desk. My legs are stiff from sitting for so long. I'm walking down the hall to the bathroom, each step feeling surreal. How can I be doing something as mundane as this, when the world feels like it's tilting into chaos? The bathroom is small and slightly grimy, fluorescent lights humming overhead. I look at myself in the mirror. I look terrible. Eyes red from stress and screen time, skin pale, stubble coming in because I didn't shave this morning. I look like someone who's been through something. I suppose I have. Water on my face. Cold and shocking and real. I grip the edges of the sink and breathe. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Basic grounding technique. This is real. I am here. I can handle this. The door bursts open. Emily, out of breath. Daniel, now. You need to see this now. I run back to the studio. Emily's pointing at her computer screen. It's a live news helicopter feed from one of the TV stations. They've got a chopper overhead of Mercy General. I don't know how they got permission for that or if they even have permission, but they're broadcasting aerial footage. The hospital looks normal from above at first, then the camera zooms in on the roof. There are people up there, dozens of them, packed together near the edges. Some are waving frantically at the helicopter, clearly trying to signal for help. Others are just standing there, motionless. The camera zooms in further on one group. I can see their faces now, even at this distance and resolution. Something is wrong with them. Their movements are jerky, uncoordinated. Their mouths are open, but I can't tell if they're screaming or just hanging slack. Some have visible injuries, blood on their clothes and skin. Then I see it. One of them grabs another person, someone who was waving at the helicopter, and bites down on their shoulder. The victim tries to fight back, struggling, hitting, but the attacker doesn't let go. Others converge on the victim, a feeding frenzy in slow motion as the helicopter camera captures it all. "Oh God," Emily whispered. The TV news anchor is talking over the footage, his voice shaking. "We're seeing what appears to be violent activity on the roof of Mercy General Hospital. I want to caution viewers that this is live footage and we cannot verify what we're witnessing. It appears that individuals on the roof are engaged in some kind of altercation. We're attempting to get clarification from authorities, but at this moment we can only show you what our camera is capturing." The camera pulls back, showing the whole roof again. There must be 50 or 60 people up there. Maybe a third of them are attacking the others. The victims are trying to get away, crowding against the roof edge, some climbing onto the ledge itself. It's chaos. The helicopter is hovering, its presence probably attracting more people to the roof, thinking it's rescue. One person jumps, just steps off the edge, 10 stories down. The camera doesn't follow them to the ground, cuts away, but we all know what happened. Another jump, then another. They're jumping to get away, Emily says. They'd rather fall than be caught by those things. The TV news cuts the feed abruptly. The anchor says they're pulling the helicopter back for safety reasons and will return to studio coverage. but the image is burned into my retina. The roof of Mercy General, a trap with nowhere to run, people choosing death over whatever those afflicted would do to them. It's 5:09. The world just saw what's happening. There's no containing this information now. Everyone knows something catastrophic is unfolding. My phone is ringing. Unknown number. I answer without thinking. Hello, Daniel, it's Patricia. The voice is hoarse, terrified, but recognizable from her previous messages. Dr. Hammond, you're alive? For now, I made it to the stairwell. I'm on the ground floor near an exit, but there's a chain on the door. I can't get it open from inside. There are some of them nearby. I can hear them. I need help. Please, where exactly are you? Southwest corner of the building. Service entrance. There's a sign that says authorized personnel only. I'm right inside that door. I'm telling the authorities right now, hold on. I'm frantically typing out a text to Colonel Masterson's number, knowing it probably won't reach him directly, but hoping someone monitoring it will see. Dr. Patricia Hammond alive, ground floor southwest service entrance. Needs immediate extraction. Did you send it? Dr. Hammond asked. Yes, they should get it soon. Are you injured? No, not yet. But Daniel, you need to understand what's happening here. This isn't a disease. It's not natural. Something was in those medications the robots delivered. Something designed. I saw the vials myself when I was hiding earlier. They had labels in a language I didn't recognize. No standard pharmaceutical markings. This was deliberate. Someone did this on purpose. What? Why would anyone? I don't know. I don't know if it was terrorism or an experiment or what. But it wasn't an accident. The contamination was intentional. Are you saying someone released a bioweapon in the hospital? That's exactly what I'm saying. And if it was deliberate, that means whoever did it wanted to test transmission, progression, containment, which means they might do it again somewhere else. I can't process this. It's too much, too fast, too horrifying. A targeted attack on a hospital using autonomous systems to distribute a weaponized pathogen. It's evil beyond comprehension. Dr. Hammond, do you have any evidence of this? Photos of the vials, documentation, anything? I took pictures on my phone, but I haven't been able to send them. Signal keeps cutting out. I'm trying now. I hear sounds on her end of the call. Scraping, thumping. Something hitting a door. They found me. They're at the door. It won't hold. Fight. Do whatever you have to. Help is coming. If I don't make it, check my phone records. The photos are there. Make sure people know this was intentional. Make sure they don't write it off as an accident. Promise me. I promise. But you're going to make it. You're going to walk out of there and tell them yourself. Crashing sounds, wood splintering. Daniel, the line goes dead. Dr. Hammond? Patricia? Are you there? Nothing? Just silent? I sit here holding the phone, unable to move, unable to speak. Emily's watching me with horror on her face. Is she? I don't know. The call dropped. She was about to be overrun. Emily covers her mouth with her hand. I can see her fighting not to break down completely. She turns away, shoulders shaking. I need to keep it together. I need to function. People are listening. People need information. I can fall apart later. Deep breath. Back to the microphone. It's 5:20. I've just spoken with Dr. Patricia Hammond, the physician who has been texting us from inside Mercy General. She reported that she was trapped on the ground floor attempting to exit through a southwest service entrance. I've relayed her location to military authorities in hopes of immediate extraction. During our call, Dr. Hammond made a claim that I need to share with you because if true, it changes everything we thought we knew about this situation. She stated that the contamination at Mercy General was not accidental. She claims to have seen medication vials delivered by the hospital's autonomous robots that contained no standard pharmaceutical markings and were labeled in an unrecognized language. She believes this was a deliberate act, a targeted release of some kind of bioweapon using the hospital's automated systems as a distribution network. I cannot verify this claim. I can only report that a medical professional inside the hospital, in a life-or-death situation with no apparent reason to lie, made this assertion. She said she took photos of evidence but was unable to send them before our call was disconnected. If this is true, we're not dealing with an unfortunate accident or a natural disease outbreak. We're dealing with an act of terrorism or warfare, an attack on one of our city's hospitals designed to kill and transform people into violent, aggressive beings that spread the affliction through bites. The implications are staggering. If someone has this capability and willingness to deploy it, where else might they strike? What other hospitals, what other cities, what other targets might be on their list? I want to be very clear, this is unconfirmed information from a single source. But given the source's credentials and circumstances, I believe it warrants serious consideration by authorities and the public. Emily's laptop is pinging with messages. She's checking her various contacts and information sources. Her face goes even paler, which I didn't think was possible. Daniel, we're getting reports from St. Catherine's Hospital. The 3 patients they received from Mercy General, they've turned, they attacked staff. The hospital's going into lockdown. No. No, no, no. This can't spread. The entire point of quarantine and containment was to keep it inside Mercy General. If it's already at St. Catherine's, if it's already spreading to other medical facilities, then containment has failed. I'm sharing this immediately. Breaking information. We're receiving reports that St. Catherine's Hospital, which received 3 critical patients from Mercy General earlier today, is now experiencing similar incidents. Patients reportedly attack staff. The hospital is initiating lockdown procedures. We're attempting to verify these reports through official sources, but multiple contacts are confirming the information. If accurate, this indicates the affliction has spread beyond the original location. This is exactly what everyone has been trying to prevent. I don't want to cause panic, but I need to be direct. If this spreads to multiple hospitals, the situation becomes exponentially more difficult to control. If you or your loved ones are at St. Catherine's, please follow hospital staff instructions and shelter in place. Do not attempt to leave unless directed by authorities. If you are planning to visit St. Catherine's, do not go. Avoid the area entirely. Jack is texting Emily updates from the perimeter. He says the military presence is being diverted. Some units are leaving Mercy General and heading towards St. Catherine's. They're splitting their resources between 2 locations now, which means both locations may be under-resourced. The comments on our live stream are escalating into full panic. People sharing that they have family at St. Catherine's, people demanding answers, people saying they're leaving the city entirely, people praying, people cursing the government and the hospitals and God and anyone else they can think to blame. I don't blame them. Fear is a rational response to this situation. What's happening is terrifying on a primal level. The safe places, the hospitals where we go to be healed and protected, have become the most dangerous places in the city. The systems designed to help us have been turned into vectors for something monstrous. Every certainty we had about how the world works is being challenged. It's 5:36. I'm trying to get confirmation on the St. Catherine's situation. I'm calling the hospital's main line. Busy signal? Of course. I'm trying the emergency department direct line. Ringing, ringing. Someone answered. St. Catherine's emergency? This is... The voice cuts off, shouting in the background. A crash. The line goes dead. I'm trying again. No answer this time, just ringing into void. Emily's got the TV news back on her screen. They're covering the breaking situation at St. Catherine's. Aerial footage shows police cars arriving, perimeter being established. It's a replay of Mercy General happening in real time just across town. The news anchor is reading a statement from the hospital. St. Catherine's Hospital is currently in lockdown due to a security incident. All non-essential personnel and visitors are being evacuated. Emergency services are being temporarily diverted. More information will be provided as it becomes available. A security incident. That's what they're calling it. Not an outbreak, not an attack, not a crisis. A security incident. The language is so sanitized it's almost offensive. But I understand why. They can't tell the full truth yet because the full truth would cause mass hysteria. Imagine if the news anchor said, people at the hospital are becoming violently aggressive after being bitten by other patients, and the affliction is spreading rapidly. The city would descend into chaos within minutes. So they use soft language and hope they can get ahead of it before the reality becomes undeniable. But it's already undeniable to anyone who's been paying attention. The footage from the Mercy General roof alone should have shattered any illusions that this is manageable or contained. Yet the official response is still clinging to the idea that careful language and controlled information will prevent panic. It won't. Panic is already here. It's just not uniform yet. It's spreading from person to person as information spreads, as people call their family members and friends and warn them to be careful or to leave the city or to stock up on supplies. The panic is viral, almost like the affliction itself. My phone buzzes, text message, unknown number. I'm almost afraid to open it, but I do. This is Colonel Masterson. We found Dr. Hammond. She's alive, injured but stable. Being evacuated now. Her phone has been secured and will be analyzed. Thank you for the location information. Relief floods through me so intensely I nearly dropped the phone. She made it. She survived. Against all odds, that brave woman who sent us messages while hiding in a closet, who tried to escape, who fought to stay alive, she made it out. I'm sharing this news immediately because I think people need to hear something positive right now. I've just received confirmation that Dr. Patricia Hammond has been found alive and is being evacuated from Mercy General Hospital. She's injured but stable. This is incredible news given how dire her situation was just minutes ago. Hammond showed extraordinary courage throughout this ordeal, and I'm deeply grateful she survived. Her phone has been secured by authorities. The photos she mentioned, the potential evidence of deliberate contamination, will be analyzed. Hopefully that will provide answers about how this started and who, if anyone, is responsible. This is one piece of good news in what has been an overwhelmingly dark day. But I'll take it. One life saved matters. One person making it out of that nightmare matters. Emily's smiling through tears. She's been invested in Dr. Hammond's survival since the first message came through. We both have. When you're following someone's story in real time, when you're hearing their fear and their determination and their humanity, they stop being an abstract source and become a person you care about. Her survival feels personal. It's 5:51. The sun has set. Dusk is settling over the city. Looking out the window, everything seems normal. Office lights glowing in nearby buildings, cars on the streets below, people probably heading home from work, thinking about dinner plans or evening activities. From here, you'd never know that 2 hospitals are in lockdown, that military forces are deployed, that something unprecedented and terrible is happening. But it is happening, and it's not stopping. Jack is reporting that the perimeter at St. Catherine's is now established, but authorities are evacuating neighboring buildings, apartment complexes, businesses, a daycare center, people streaming out with whatever they grabbed in a hurry, confusion and fear on their faces. It's becoming real for them in a way it wasn't before. When it's far away, it's a news story. When soldiers are telling you to leave your home, it's your life. Emily's trying to get updates on how many people have been affected. How many dead, how many afflicted, how many escaped. Nobody will give numbers. Official sources are staying silent on specifics. Unofficial sources are all over the place. Wild estimates from dozens to thousands. The truth is probably somewhere in between, but impossible to determine without access to the hospitals. I'm thinking about Dr. Hammond's claim that this was deliberate. If that's true, someone planned this. Someone engineered or acquired a pathogen, figured out how to deliver it through hospital systems, and executed the attack. Someone sat in a room somewhere and decided that turning a hospital into a death trap was an acceptable action to achieve their goals, whatever those goals might be. What kind of person does that? What ideology or grievance or insanity drives someone to unleash suffering on such a scale? And more pressingly, are they done? Was this a one-time attack, a proof of concept, or is it the beginning of something larger? Will tomorrow bring reports of more hospitals affected? More cities? How do you defend against an enemy who can weaponize the systems designed to heal us? These are questions without answers, at least not yet. But they need to be asked. They need to be on people's minds because complacency is no longer an option. The world we woke up to this morning is not the world we're living in now. Things have changed fundamentally and perhaps irrevocably. It's 6:14. I need to hydrate. I need to eat. I need to function like a human being for at least a few minutes. Emily's ordering food delivery to the station. Chinese food from the place down the block. Normal food for an abnormal day. It feels wrong somehow. Like we shouldn't be eating while people are dying, but that's irrational. We need energy to keep going. We need to take care of ourselves so we can keep doing this. The food arrives 20 minutes later. Emily pays the delivery person, tips generously, sends them on their way with a stay safe. We eat at the desk, paper containers and plastic utensils, the smell of fried rice and orange chicken filling the small studio. It tastes good, which makes me feel guilty. How can anything taste good today? But it does. And I eat. And Emily eats. And we fuel ourselves for whatever comes next. My phone rings while I'm mid-bite. I answer, still chewing. This is Rothman. Mr. Rothman, this is Deputy Mayor Lisa Chen. I'm calling to request that you coordinate your coverage with our emergency communications team. We're issuing updates every hour, and it would be helpful if your station could amplify those messages rather than potentially contradicting them with independent reporting. I swallow my food, Deputy Mayor. With all respect, independent reporting is exactly what's needed right now. Your official communications have been lagging behind the reality of the situation. I understand your perspective, but uncoordinated messaging creates confusion. People need clear, consistent information. People need accurate information. If official sources aren't providing that, then independent sources must fill the gap. Are you refusing to cooperate with city emergency management? I'm declining to become a mouthpiece for official statements that don't reflect the full truth. If you want us to amplify your messages, make sure your messages are comprehensive and timely. Long pause. Mr. Rothman, we're trying to prevent mass panic while managing an unprecedented crisis. That requires careful communication. I'm not asking you to lie. I'm asking you to consider the broader impact of your words. I am considering it, Deputy Mayor. That's why I'm continuing to report what we know as we know it. People can handle the truth better than they can handle being misled or kept in the dark. I hope you're right. For all our sakes, she hangs up. Emily raises her eyebrows at me. That was diplomatic. I'm done being diplomatic. People are dying. This is too important for political niceties. She nods. Agreed. But you might have just made an enemy of the deputy mayor. Then so be it. I can live with that. I finish my food in silence, thinking about the conversation. The tension between transparency and stability, between informing the public and managing their reactions. It's a real dilemma, not a simple good versus evil scenario. The authorities genuinely believe they're protecting people by controlling information. I genuinely believe people have a right to know what's happening regardless of how frightening it is. Neither position is purely right or wrong, but I've made my choice and I'm standing by it. It's 6:52, the hourly update from the city should be coming soon. Let's see what they're willing to tell us now that the situation is obviously deteriorated beyond their initial containment hopes. Emily's pulled up the city's official social media accounts on her screen. They're live streaming the press conference. It's starting now. The screen shows a podium with the city seal flanked by flags. Several people stand behind it. The mayor, the deputy mayor. I just spoke with the police chief, someone in military uniform, and a woman in a dark suit I don't recognize. The mayor steps up to speak. He looks exhausted, his usual polished appearance replaced by something more haggard. He's not reading from prepared remarks, which is unusual for him. He's speaking directly, and I can tell he's struggling with what to say. Good evening. I'm addressing you tonight during what is undoubtedly the most serious crisis our city has ever faced. Earlier today, an incident occurred at Mercy General Hospital that resulted in multiple casualties and has necessitated an ongoing emergency response. Within the past hour, a related incident occurred at St. Catherine's Hospital. Both facilities are currently on lockdown, and military and law enforcement personnel are actively working to contain the situation. I'm going to be direct with you because you deserve honesty. We're dealing with something we don't fully understand. A rapidly spreading affliction that causes severe behavioral changes and violence in those affected. It appears to transmit through direct contact, specifically through body. We're treating this as an infectious outbreak and are implementing all available containment measures. If you live within the shelter-in-place zones that have been established around both hospitals, please remain indoors. Lock your doors and windows. Do not open your door for anyone unless they identify themselves as official emergency personnel. If you see anyone exhibiting signs of the affliction, erratic behavior, aggression, visible injuries, do not approach them. Call 911 immediately. All schools in the city will be closed tomorrow as a precautionary measure. Non-essential businesses are advised to close and send employees home. We're asking everyone to limit unnecessary travel and remain vigilant. I know this is frightening. I know you have questions. We're working around the clock to get answers and to protect this city. Updates will be provided every hour as the situation develops. Thank you. He steps back without taking questions. The press corps erupts, shouting over each other, cameras flashing. But the mayor and his team turn and leave through a side door. The live stream cuts to a static screen with emergency contact numbers. Emily and I look at each other. That was the most honest official statement we've heard all day, and it's still wildly insufficient. He confirmed the affliction spreads through bites. He confirmed they don't understand it. He confirmed multiple hospitals are affected. But he said nothing about how it started, nothing about Dr. Hammond's claims of deliberate contamination, nothing about prognosis or treatment or how long containment might take. Still, it's more than we had before, and it's clear from his demeanor that the situation is worse than even his words indicated. Leaders don't show that kind of visible stress unless things are truly dire. It's 7:12. I'm analyzing the mayor's statement on air, breaking down what he said and what he didn't say, what it means for people listening. The key points are clear. This is spreading. It's transmitted through bites. Multiple locations are affected. Containment is underway, but not yet successful. People need to shelter and stay alert. What's not clear is the end game. How do you stop something like this once it's out? The people who are bitten become violent and bite others, who then become violent and bite others. You've got exponential growth, classic epidemic curve. Every afflicted person who isn't immediately isolated creates multiple new cases. Without rapid intervention, the numbers become overwhelming. The authorities know this. They must. Which means they're probably planning something more aggressive than simple containment. Maybe forced quarantine, rounding up the afflicted and isolating them en masse. Maybe widespread military deployment to actively hunt down and neutralize infected individuals. Maybe evacuation of large portions of the city to create empty zones where the affliction can't spread. All of those options have horrific implications. All of them require choices no leader wants to make. But if the alternative is letting the affliction spread unchecked, those choices become necessary. I don't envy the mayor or anyone in the command structure right now. They're navigating uncharted territory with incomplete information and rapidly diminishing options. Emily's monitoring emergency services radio again. She's hearing increased traffic, more units being called to active situations, more requests for backup, more locations being flagged as potential outbreak sites. The pattern is expanding. What was two hospitals is becoming scattered incidents across a wider area. Someone who was bitten but escaped before showing symptoms. Someone who got out during the initial chaos and went home, not realizing they were carrying the affliction. Now they're turning in their apartment or their house or their workplace, and the people around them have no idea what's happening until it's too late. This is how outbreaks become uncontrollable. Not from the initial source, but from the seeds that spread before anyone knows to look for them. It's 7:33. I'm taking calls from listeners. We've been doing this for hours, but most calls have been people seeking information. Now I want to hear from people experiencing this directly. Emily's screening carefully, looking for anyone with first-hand knowledge of the situation beyond the hospital zones. First caller is a man named Robert. He lives near St. Catharines, just inside the shelter-in-place zone. Robert, you're on the air. Yeah. Hi, Daniel. I just wanted to say thank you for keeping us informed. I've been listening all day. The thing is, I think one of them is in my apartment building. What makes you think that? I heard screaming about 20 minutes ago from the floor below me. Then it stopped suddenly. Too suddenly, you know? Now I hear footsteps in the hallway outside my door. Just pacing back and forth, I can see a shadow under the door. Someone's out there, but they're not knocking or calling out. Just walking. That's been going on for 10 minutes. Have you called the police? Lines are busy. I can't get through. Can you barricade your door? Push furniture against it? Already did. I've got my couch and my dresser stacked there, but I'm on the third floor. If this thing gets in, I've got nowhere to go. Stay quiet. Stay away from the door. Don't make any noise that might attract attention. I'm going to try to get help to your location. What's your address? He gives it. Emily's already texting it to the emergency management office and the National Guard contact we have. I don't know if anyone will respond, but at least we're trying. Robert, stay on the line if you can. I'm going to put you on hold, but don't hang up. We'll check back in a few minutes. Okay, thank you. I put him on hold. Emily's taking another caller. This one is a woman named Angela. She's not in a shelter zone. She's on the other side of the city, but she has something to report. Angela, go ahead. I work at a convenience store on 5th and Madison. About half an hour ago, a woman came in who looked really sick. Pale, sweating, she could barely walk. She asked for water. I gave her a bottle and she just chugged it. Then she started convulsing right there in the aisle, just dropped and started seizing. I called 911, but they said all ambulances are tied up with the hospital situations. They told me to make her comfortable and wait. I tried to help her, but she grabbed my arm and she was so strong. Her grip was like iron. Her eyes opened and they looked wrong, empty. I pulled away and ran to the back room, locked the door. She's out there now in the store. I can hear her knocking things over, moving around. What do I do? Is the store empty besides you and her? Yes, I locked the front door after she came in. Nobody else is here. Can you get out through a back exit? There's a delivery door in the back room, yeah? Leave right now. Don't wait. Get out, get away from the area, and find somewhere safe to shelter. What about her? What about my store? Angela, your life is more important than property. Get out now. We'll get authorities there when we can. Okay, I'm going. Thank you. The line clicks off. Angela's store is nowhere near either hospital. This woman who came in sick, she wasn't a patient or hospital worker. She was infected somewhere else, maybe from secondary contact, and she's spreading it into a new area. The containment is failing. It's not just failing, it's already failed. The affliction is loose in the city. Multiple points of infection spreading faster than authorities can track or respond to. In the time we've been on air today, this has gone from a hospital incident to a citywide emergency. And if it's happening here, it could be happening elsewhere. Other cities, other hospitals. If Dr. Hammond is right about this being intentional, if someone deployed this as a weapon, why would they stop at one city? Why not multiple simultaneous attacks to maximize disruption and minimize the effectiveness of response? I'm sharing these thoughts on air because people need to understand the scope of what might be happening. This isn't just our problem. This might be everywhere. It's 8:04. My phone rings. It's my ex-wife. Daniel, oh God, I'm so glad you answered. What's wrong? Are you and Emma okay? We're fine, we're at home. But Daniel, the news is saying downtown is dangerous and we should consider leaving the city. Is it really that bad? Yes. It's worse than the news is saying. You should leave. Tonight. Take Emma and go to your parents' place upstate. Pack essentials and go. You're scaring me. I'm sorry. but I need you to be scared enough to act. This is spreading. Containment has failed. The city might become completely unsafe very quickly. What about you? I'm staying. I have to keep broadcasting. People are relying on this station for information. Daniel, you could die. I could, but this is important. This is what I'm supposed to do. Please, just take Emma and go. Keep her safe. A long silence. I can hear her breathing, processing, deciding. Okay, we'll leave within the hour, but you call me, you hear? You stay in touch. If things get worse, you get out too. I will. I promise. I love you both. I know. Be safe. She hangs up. Emily heard my side of the conversation. You should go with them. No, Daniel, you have a daughter. She needs you. She needs me to do the right thing. And right now, the right thing is staying here, keeping this broadcast going, making sure people have access to information. That's how I protect her and everyone else. Emily doesn't argue further. She knows me well enough to know I've made the decision and won't be swayed. Instead, she goes back to monitoring her sources, giving me space to feel whatever I'm feeling about sending my child away without me. The truth is, I'm terrified. Not of dying necessarily, though, that's part of it. I'm terrified of failing, of not being good enough, not doing enough, not mattering when it matters most. Broadcasting feels important, feels necessary, but what if it's not? What if I'm just talking into a void while the world falls apart, accomplishing nothing except abandoning my family? But I can't think like that. I have to believe this matters. I have to trust that information and truth in a steady voice during chaos have value. Otherwise, what's the point of any of this? It's 8:27. I'm checking back with Robert, the caller who had something pacing outside his door. Robert, you still there? Yeah, still here. The shadow's gone. I don't hear footsteps anymore. Maybe it left? Maybe. Or maybe it's waiting quietly. Can you see out a window? Check the street without making yourself visible. Let me look. Rustling sounds, the long pause. Jesus Christ, what is it? There are people in the street, a lot of them, just standing there, not moving, just standing. Some of them are bloody. One's got its arm twisted at a weird angle like it's broken, but it's not reacting to the pain. They're all facing my building, like they know people are in. How many? I don't know, 20, 30? It's hard to count. They're spread out across the whole block. Stay away from the windows. Don't let them see you. And Robert, I need you to do something important. Do you have a weapon? Anything you can use to defend yourself? I have a baseball bat. That's it. That'll work. Keep it with you. If one of them gets inside, you aim for the head. That seems to be where they're vulnerable. Don't hesitate. Don't try to reason with them. Just act. This is insane. I feel like I'm in a horror movie. I know, but it's real, and you need to treat it that way. Are you prepared to do what's necessary to survive? Yeah, I think so. I don't want to die here. Then you won't. You're going to make it through this. Help is coming. The military is deploying throughout the city. They'll get to you. When? I don't know, but they will. Just hold on. Okay. Thanks, Daniel. I keep him on the line, checking in every few minutes. Emily's doing the same with other callers who've reported situations. We've become an informal coordination hub, connecting people in danger with information and occasionally with each other. It's not much, but it's something. The military radio traffic Emily's monitoring has intensified. Code phrases we don't fully understand, references to containment failures and spread vectors and population density concerns. They're adapting strategies in real time, realizing that what worked for isolated incidents doesn't work when the incidents multiply. It's 8:53. The next hourly update should be coming soon. Let's see if the mayor maintains his earlier honesty or retreats back into careful language. The press conference starts at 9 on the dot. The mayor is there again, but he looks even worse than before. His tie is loosened, jacket removed, sleeves rolled up. He stopped pretending this is business as usual. I'm going to give you the facts as we understand them. The affliction has spread beyond the initial locations. We're receiving reports of incidents across the city. The number of afflicted individuals is estimated to be in the hundreds, possibly more. Each infected person poses a severe threat to public safety and can spread the affliction through bites or potentially other forms of direct contact. We're implementing a citywide curfew effective immediately. All residents must be indoors from now until further notice. Anyone found on the streets without authorized purpose will be detained. This is for your own safety. All forms of public transportation are suspended. Roads in and out of the city are being controlled. We're not preventing people from leaving if they choose to evacuate, but we're screening everyone at checkpoints to ensure they're not infected. Emergency services are overwhelmed. If you call 911, you may experience long wait times or be unable to get through. We're prioritizing life-threatening situations. For general questions or non-emergency concerns, visit the city's website or call the information hotline. To be absolutely clear, if you encounter someone who is infected, do not try to help them. Do not approach them, get away, and report the location to authorities. These individuals are extremely dangerous and beyond our current ability to treat. I won't sugarcoat this. We're in a fight for our city's survival. We need everyone to follow instructions, stay calm, and help each other however you safely can. We will get through this, but only if we work together. God help us all. He walks away again. No questions, no elaboration. Just those stark facts delivered with the weight of someone who knows how bad things really are. Emily and I are silent for a moment after the broadcast ends. The mayor's final words echo, God help us all. When leadership starts invoking God, you know rational solutions are running thin. The curfew is in effect now. Anyone outside is breaking the law. The checkpoints at city exits mean people who want to evacuate need to be screened first. How effective is that screening? How do you identify someone who's infected but not yet showing symptoms? You probably can't, which means infected people are getting through the checkpoints, carrying the affliction to other cities, other states. This isn't containable anymore. If it ever was, that window closed hours ago. Now it's about mitigation, slowing the spread, buying time to understand what we're dealing with and how to fight it. It's 9:18. I'm updating listeners about the curfew and its implications. I'm urging people to stay indoors, secure their homes, gather supplies while they still can. I'm trying to balance information with hope, reality with reassurance. It's a tightrope walk. As Jack sent a message, he's still at his car near the hospital perimeter, technically violating curfew but too committed to the story to leave. He says the military presence has tripled. Armored vehicles, more soldiers, heavy weapons. They're preparing for something big, maybe a sweep through the affected areas, clearing out the infected by force, maybe fortifying positions for a long-term siege. He's not sure. Another caller. This one's name is Marcus. He's a doctor, not at Mercy General or St. Catherine's, but at Westside Medical. He's calling from inside the hospital. Marcus, you're on with Daniel Rothman. Daniel, I've been listening to your broadcast. I need to share what we're seeing here. We've received maybe a dozen patients today with bite wounds. We isolated them immediately based on the warnings. But within an hour, every single one of them turned. Same pattern: seizure, apparent death, then reanimation with aggressive behavior. We had to lock them in rooms, barricade the doors. Security is monitoring them, but we don't have a protocol for this. We don't have a cure or treatment. All we can do is contain them. Have any of your staff been bitten? Not yet. We've been extremely careful. Full protective gear. No direct contact. But Daniel, here's the thing. I've been studying the progression in the patients we can observe. The seizures last about 2 to 3 minutes. Then there's a period of apparent death. No pulse. No breathing. That lasts 30 seconds to 1 minute. Then they revive, but they're not the same. Higher brain functions appear gone. They respond only to stimuli, specifically to the presence of uninfected humans. They're attracted to movement, sound, maybe body heat, and they're strong, unnaturally strong. Pain doesn't stop them. Exhaustion doesn't stop them. I watched one patient with a broken leg stand on it and walk without any sign of discomfort. What are you saying, Marcus? What's causing this? I don't know. It's not like any pathogen I've ever encountered. It acts too fast. The effects are too consistent. If I had to guess, and this is pure speculation, it's something engineered. A bioweapon designed to hijack specific neural pathways, shut down consciousness, and leave only base aggressive instincts. But even that doesn't fully explain the apparent death and revival. That suggests the pathogen can temporarily restart stopped hearts or maintain minimal brain function that mimics death. It's beyond anything in medical literature. Dr. Hammond at Mercy General suggested it was deliberate, a targeted attack using the hospital's robotic delivery systems. Does that match what you're theorizing? It would make sense. Use hospital infrastructure to deliver the weapon to multiple vulnerable patients simultaneously. Perfect vector. High initial infection rate. And if the pathogen spreads through bites, you've got built-in transmission once the first wave turns. Is there any way to stop it? Any treatment you can think of? In theory, you'd need to neutralize the pathogen before the seizure phase. Some kind of antiviral or antibody treatment, but we don't know what we're fighting, so we can't develop a treatment. And once someone reaches the seizure phase, I don't think there's any coming back. The brain damage appears catastrophic. So anyone bitten is doomed. Yes. I'm sorry, but yes, that's what we're seeing. Thank you for calling, Marcus. Stay safe. You too, Daniel. Keep broadcasting. People need to hear this. I hang up and sit in silence for a moment. Emily's crying again, quietly. The weight of what Marcus just confirmed is crushing. Anyone bitten is beyond saving. There's no treatment, no cure, no hope for recovery, just inevitability. How many people have been bitten today? How many are going through that progression right now, seizing, dying, coming back as something else? How many families are watching their loved ones transform and not understanding what's happening or what to do? The human cost of this is incalculable, not just the deaths, but the trauma, the horror, the shattering of everything we believed about life and death and medicine and safety. We're all going to carry scars from this, assuming we survive to carry anything. It's 9:49. I need a minute, just 1 minute to breathe and think and feel before I go back on air. Emily nods, takes over. She starts reading prepared emergency information, shelter-in-place procedures, how to secure a location against intruders. Her voice is steady despite her tears. She's so strong. I walk to the window. The city lights spread out below and around me. From up here, everything looks peaceful. The darkness hides the chaos. You can't see the infected in the streets, the military vehicles, the abandoned cars, the locked doors, and frightened people behind them. You can only see lights, civilization's glow persisting even as civilization itself teeters. How fragile it all is. How quickly order becomes disorder, safety becomes danger, normal becomes nightmare. We spend our lives building systems and structures and routines, convinced they'll protect us. Then something comes along that breaks them all at once, and we're left scrambling to remember how to survive without them. I'm back at the desk. Emily yields the microphone. I'm ready to continue. It's 10:03. We've been broadcasting for over 10 hours. The night is deep now, darkness complete. Somewhere in this city, people are fighting for their lives. Somewhere, the military is engaging in combat against an enemy that used to be civilian. Somewhere, families are huddled together wondering if morning will come. And here in this small studio on the 4th floor of an office building, Emily and I are keeping a light on. A voice in the darkness saying we're still here, still fighting, still believing that information and truth matter. I don't know how long we can keep this going. Exhaustion is setting in, adrenaline wearing off, leaving raw fatigue beneath. But we'll keep going as long as we can. As long as people need to hear that someone is paying attention, someone is bearing witness, someone is refusing to let the silence swallow everything. Robert called back. The infected outside his building have dispersed. He doesn't know why. Maybe they heard something else, found easier targets. He's still barricaded in, still afraid, but the immediate threat has passed. I tell him to stay alert, stay quiet, stay ready. He thanks me and hangs up. Small victories. I'll take them. Angela, the woman from the convenience store, texted Emily she made it out, got to a friend's house across town. She's safe for now. The store is lost, but she's alive. Another small victory. These individual survivals matter. Each one is a person who didn't become a statistic, who made it through because they had information or luck or courage or all three. We can't save everyone. We probably can't save most people. But if this broadcast helps even one person make a decision that keeps them alive, it's worth it. It's 10:37. The official updates have stopped. The last one was at 9. Either authorities have nothing new to say or they've lost the ability to coordinate messaging. Either option is concerning. Emily's monitoring news from other cities. Reports are starting to come in. Similar incidents at hospitals in 3 other states. Different cities, same pattern, autonomous systems, contaminated medications, rapid outbreak. This is coordinated. This is a multi-city attack. Dr. Hammond was right. Someone, somewhere, planned and executed simultaneous bioweapon deployments across multiple American cities. The logistics alone are staggering. The malice required is beyond comprehension. This isn't terrorism in the traditional sense, seeking to create fear to achieve political goals. This is warfare, seeking to destroy civilization itself. Who benefits from that? Who wants to see society collapse? Rival nations? Domestic extremists? Doomsday cultists? The list of possible actors is long, but the number with capability to pull this off is short. This required access to hospital systems, knowledge of medical logistics, ability to produce or obtain a weaponized pathogen, and coordination across vast distances. State-level resources. That's what this feels like. A nation-state attack using unconventional weapons against civilian infrastructure. If that's true, we're not dealing with a crisis, we're dealing with war. I'm sharing this analysis on air, carefully couching it as speculation, but making clear why the speculation is warranted. People need to understand the potential scope. This might not be isolated to our city or even our country. This might be global. The implications are terrifying. If hospitals worldwide are compromised, where do people go for medical care? If the infected are spreading in multiple countries simultaneously, can any place be considered safe? If this is an act of war, will there be retaliation? And against questions without answers, but questions that need to be asked. It's 11:12. Emily's found something on social media. A video posted from inside what appears to be Mercy General. Someone's phone camera shaking as they run through dark hallways, emergency lighting casting everything in red. You can hear breathing fast and panicked. In the background, sounds of pursuit, footsteps, that choking growling noise. Marcus described. The camera whips around and catches a glimpse of a figure shambling after the runner. Blood on its hospital gown, face slack, eyes reflecting the red light like an animal's. The video cuts off abruptly. We don't know if the person filming survived. Emily's found more videos. Different locations, same horror. The infected aren't subtle. They don't hide or stalk. They pursue relentlessly, driven by whatever the pathogen has reduced them to. Some videos show groups of infected moving together not with coordination but with shared purpose. Find the living. Spread the affliction. One video shows a confrontation between the infected and law enforcement. Officers with guns drawn, shouting commands that go unheeded. The infected keep coming. Warning shots. Then shots to center mass. The infected don't fall. More shots. Still coming. Finally, headshot. Only then do they stop moving. The officers in the video are shaken. You can see it even in the grainy footage. They've just killed people who look human, who might have been victims themselves hours ago. That's a trauma that will stay with them forever, assuming they survive this night. It's 11:43. I'm struggling to stay focused. My thoughts keep drifting, connections weakening. I need sleep, but sleep isn't an option. Coffee isn't helping anymore. I'm running on fumes. Emily's in better shape. She's younger, more resilient. She's keeping us organized, maintaining the flow of information. I don't know what I'd do without her here. A text from Jack. He's been recording audio of the military radio traffic. He sent us a file. Emily's playing it through headphones, listening, her expression darkening. She takes off the headphones and looks at me. They're talking about fallback positions, defendable perimeters. They're planning to abandon parts of the city, cede territory to the infected and establish hard boundaries. How much territory? Sounds like everything within a 3-mile radius of the hospital district, maybe more. That's thousands of people they'd be leaving behind. They wouldn't. They can't. The radio traffic suggests they might not have a choice. The infected numbers are growing too fast. They can't maintain control of the entire city. So they're prioritizing. Save what they can save. Right off the rest. I feel sick. The idea that authorities would knowingly abandon civilians, leave them to face the infected alone, it's monstrous. But it's also rational in a horrible way. If containment is impossible, and resources are finite, you focus on what you can achieve. You sacrifice the few to save the many, except it's not the few, it's thousands. Maybe tens of thousands depending on where they draw the line. I'm reporting this on air because people deserve to know they might be on the wrong side of that line. They deserve the chance to evacuate if they can, to fight if they must, to make peace with their situation if neither option is available. The backlash is immediate. Phone lines explode with angry callers. How dare I suggest the military would abandon people? How dare I spread such defeatist nonsense? I must be wrong. I must be exaggerating. This is America. We don't leave people behind. I want to believe that. I desperately want to believe that. But the evidence suggests otherwise, and wishful thinking gets people killed. It's 12:17, past midnight now. We've entered a new day, though it doesn't feel new. It feels like a continuation of the nightmare that started this morning. Has it only been one day? It feels like a lifetime. Reports are coming in from the other affected cities. Similar patterns, rapid spread, overwhelmed responses, breakdown of order. One city has already declared martial law. Another has evacuated its downtown entirely, creating an empty zone. A third is reporting that the infected have breached their containment and are spreading into suburban areas. This is happening everywhere simultaneously. The coordination is perfect. Whoever planned this understood exactly how to maximize chaos and minimize effective response. Hit multiple cities at once so resources can't be shifted from unaffected areas. Use hospitals as vectors to ensure high initial infection rates. Release during daytime when facilities are fully staffed and populated. Time it so the spread accelerates into night when visibility is limited and fear is highest. It's diabolical, and it's working. Emily's getting calls from family and friends asking if they should leave the city. I can hear her telling them, yes, leave now, don't wait, just go. Her voice is cracking. She's maintaining composure for me and for the broadcast, but she's breaking inside. We both are. I check my phone. Messages from my ex-wife. They made it out of the city. They're at her parents' house, safe for now. Emma wanted to say goodnight. There's a voice memo attached. I play it. My daughter's voice, small and scared, but trying to be brave. Hi, Daddy. Mommy says you're helping people and that's why you couldn't come with us. I hope you're okay. I hope you come soon. I love you. Good night. I have to stop the broadcast for a moment. I can't speak. Tears are running down my face and I don't have the strength to stop them. Emily takes over, covers for me, gives me space to fall apart quietly. My daughter, she's 7 years old. She should be worried about homework and play dates and what to dress up as for Halloween. Instead, she's fleeing her home because the world is ending and her father chose to stay behind. What kind of father does that make me? What kind of person? The kind who believes some things are more important than individual safety. The kind who thinks truth and information during crisis are worth dying for. The kind who wants his daughter to grow up in a world where people stood for something when it mattered. Or the kind who's a fool, who's chosen abstractions over flesh and blood, principle over survival. I don't know anymore. I can't think straight. Emily's hand on my shoulder. Take your time. I've got this. I nod, wipe my eyes, try to pull myself together. Deep breaths, in and out. Focus on the moment. One breath at a time, 1 minute at a time, one broadcast segment at a time. I'm back. It's 12:51. Emily yields the microphone again. I thank her quietly. She nods. We have new information from the city's emergency management office. The evacuation checkpoints are being closed in 1 hour. After that, anyone leaving the city will have to find their own way out using back roads and unofficial routes. They're focusing checkpoint personnel on the defensive perimeter instead. Translation, they're giving up on orderly evacuation and consolidating forces to hold a line. If you're not out in the next hour, you're trapped. Or you're on your own. I'm announcing this clearly and urgently. If anyone listening is still trying to leave, now is the time. Don't wait for dawn. Don't wait for traffic to clear. Get in your car or start walking and go now. The window is closed. Jack confirms this from his position. He's watching checkpoint personnel beginning to pack up. Fewer vehicles being screened, barriers being repositioned. They're not even pretending this is temporary. The city is being written off. Not officially, not in any statement authorities would make publicly, but in practice, in the movement of resources and priorities, the message is clear. This city is lost. The goal now is preventing the loss from spreading further. How do you accept that? How do you process the idea that your home, the place where you've built your life, is being abandoned by the very institutions supposed to protect it? Rage seems appropriate. Despair seems reasonable. But all I feel is a numb disconnect, like this is happening to someone else and I'm watching from a distance. It's 1:23. A sound outside. Not close, maybe several blocks away, but unmistakable. Gunfire. Not the methodical shooting we heard earlier, but panicked, rapid fire. Someone encountering the infected emptying their weapon in fear or desperation. Then silence. Did they survive? Did they run out of ammunition? Are they infected now, beginning the transformation? I'll never know, just another anonymous tragedy in a night full of them. Emily's phone is buzzing constantly. Messages from people she knows asking for advice, asking for hope, asking if she thinks they'll survive. She's trying to respond to everyone, but there are too many. She's sending the same message to all of them. Stay inside, stay quiet, stay strong. It's inadequate, but it's all she can offer. My phone has stopped buzzing. Either people have given up trying to reach me, or the network is failing. Probably both. Communications infrastructure depends on people maintaining it. If those people are dead or fled or hiding, the systems start failing, first slowly, then catastrophically. We're running on backup power here at the station. The main grid is still functioning, but we switched to backup as a precaution. Fuel for the generators is good for maybe 72 hours. After that, we go dark unless we can resupply. I'm not optimistic about resupply. 3 days. We might have 3 days of broadcasting left, maybe less if something else fails first, or if the infected reach this building, or if authorities decide we're a liability and shut us down by force. Finite time, finite resources, finite hope. But we keep going. It's 2:07. I'm reading messages from listeners. Some are thank yous, appreciation for keeping them informed. Some are prayers, asking God to protect us and everyone listening. Some are goodbyes, people who don't expect to survive saying they wanted someone to know they existed, they mattered, they tried. I'm reading several of these on air. Not all. That would take hours. But enough to honor the people sending them, to acknowledge their humanity and courage. These messages deserve to be witnessed. One message from a teacher named Charlotte. She's sheltering in her classroom with 3 students who couldn't get home before lockdown. She's trying to keep them calm, playing games, telling stories. She says if these are her last hours, she's grateful to spend them protecting children. She's grateful she could be there for them when they needed her most. One from a husband named Thomas. His wife was working at Mercy General when everything started. He hasn't heard from her in hours. He knows she's probably gone. He says he'll keep believing she's alive until he has proof otherwise. But he wanted to tell someone how much he loved her, how she made every day better just by existing. He wanted her story remembered even if she can't be saved. One from a veteran named Samuel. He's too old to fight now, he says, but he served his country in 3 wars and he's not afraid to die. He's armed and ready. If the infected come for him, he'll take as many as he can with him. His only regret is that this happened before he could meet his first grandchild, due next month. He hopes his daughter and her baby make it somewhere safe. He hopes they remember him as someone who stood his ground. These people, these ordinary people facing extraordinary horror with grace and strength and love, they're what's best about humanity. They're why any of this matters. I'm crying again. I can't help it. The emotional toll is too much, but I keep reading. I keep honoring these messages. Because if I don't, who will? Emily's monitoring broadcasts from other cities. Some have gone silent. Stations offline, either from technical failure or because there's nobody left to operate them. Others are still active, broadcasting similar information to what we're sharing. Different voices, same desperate update. We're all doing the same thing, trying to hold back the darkness with words and facts and present. How long until we go silent too? It's 3:34. The silence outside is eerie. No traffic sounds, no sirens, no human activity. Just wind and the occasional distant sound that might be gunfire or might be something else. The city has gone still, holding its breath, waiting. Jack texted, he's abandoning his position. The infected are moving through the streets in groups now, too many to avoid. He's heading to the station, hopes to make it before dawn. We tell him to be careful. We tell him we'll be here. Will we? I don't know. Every hour that passes feels like borrowed time. We're still functioning, still broadcasting, but it feels fragile. Like one wrong move and everything collapses. I need to eat again. Emily orders more delivery, but the restaurant says they're closed, evacuation in progress. We'll have to make do with what's in the break room. Vending machine food. Stale cookies and chips and energy drinks. Not ideal, but it'll keep us going. We eat mechanically, barely tasting anything. Fuel for bodies that don't want to accept fuel. But we force it down because the alternative is worse. It's 4:19, pre-dawn. The darkest hour. Literally and metaphorically. My phone rings. Unknown number. I'm past being cautious about answering. At this point, what's the worst that could happen? Rothman. Mr. Rothman, this is Colonel Masterson. We spoke earlier. Colonel, what can I do for you? I'm calling to inform you that your station is within the evacuation zone we're establishing. You need to cease broadcasting and leave the building within the next hour. We're staying, Colonel. That's not advisable. The perimeter we're holding will not include your location. You'll be outside our protection. We understand. We're staying anyway. A long pause. Mr. Rothman, you don't have to be a hero. You've done good work today. People have benefited from your coverage, but there's no shame in survival. Get out while you can. I appreciate the concern, Colonel, but this is where we need to be. This is what we're supposed to do. If we leave, who keeps broadcasting? Who gives people information? Other stations in other cities. The network news, you're not the only source, but we're their source. The people in this city, they know us. They trust us. If we go silent, they'll think it's over, they'll give up. I can't do that to them. Another pause. I can't protect you, Mr. Rothman. Once we pull back, you're on your own. I know, that's okay. We'll manage. Godspeed, then. I hope you make it through this. You too, Colonel. Thank you for everything you've done. He hangs up. Emily heard the conversation. She's looking at me with an expression I can't quite read. Fear, maybe. Or determination. Or both. We're really doing this, she said. If you want to leave, I'll understand. This isn't your fight. You can go get to safety. I'll stay and handle the broadcast alone if I have to. Don't be stupid. I'm staying. Someone has to keep you functional. I smile. First time in hours, thank you. Don't thank me. I'm probably insane for doing this. Probably, but it's good company for my insanity. We laugh. It's inappropriate and slightly manic, but it releases tension we've been carrying all night. For just a moment, the weight lifts. Then reality settles back in. We're staying. The military is leaving. We're about to be alone in a city full of infected. Whatever happens next, we'll face it here in this studio, keeping the light on as long as we can. It's 5:48. Dawn is approaching. The sky outside my window is beginning to lighten, darkness giving way to gray. I can see more of the city now. Smoke rising from several locations, abandoned vehicles in the streets, no movement except the wind. The infected don't like daylight. At least that's what early reports are suggesting. They're not nocturnal exactly, but they're less active during the day. Maybe the pathogen affects their eyes, makes bright light uncomfortable. Or maybe it's just coincident. We don't have enough data to know for sure. If they're less active during the day, we might have a few hours of relative safety. Emphasis on relative. Jack arrived at the station 10 minutes ago. He's exhausted, filthy, but alive. He brought video footage from his phone, hours of recording from the perimeter and the streets. We'll review it when we have time, use whatever is relevant for the broadcast. He's also brought news. The military is establishing their new perimeter about 3 miles from here. Everything inside is being seeded. No patrols, no intervention, no rescue operations. The people left inside are on their own until the situation stabilizes enough for reclamation efforts. If it ever stabilizes, Jack doesn't think it will. He saw too many infected, too much chaos. He thinks this city is gone, and the military knows it. They're just holding the line to prevent spread while other cities hopefully do better. It's 6:21, full daylight now. I can see the city clearly. It looks dead. No traffic, no pedestrians, no signs of normal life. Just emptiness and smoke and the occasional movement that might be infected or might be survivors. We're broadcasting an overview of the situation, everything we know, everything that's happened, the current state of affairs. For anyone just tuning in, for anyone who slept through the night, somehow we're bringing them up to speed. The infection started at Mercy General Hospital through contaminated medications delivered by autonomous robots. It spread to St. Catherine's and now throughout the city. Hundreds, possibly thousands infected. The afflicted are violent and relentless, spreading through bite. Anyone bitten undergoes transformation within minutes. There's no cure, no treatment, no hope of recovery. The city is under curfew and effectively quarantined. Military has established a perimeter, but has abandoned the interior. We're inside that abandoned zone, continuing to broadcast for as long as we can. That's the summary. That's where we are. Emily's making more coffee. Jack is setting up his recording equipment to integrate with our broadcast system. We're adapting, making the best of our situation. I'm thinking about what comes next. We can't broadcast forever. Eventually we'll run out of power or food or water. Eventually the infected will find this building if they haven't already. We need a plan beyond just holding out. But what plan? Where would we go? How would we get there? Every option seems equally impossible. Maybe there is no plan. Maybe we just do this until we can't anymore. Maybe that's enough. It's 7:37. We're getting reports from other cities. Some are managing better than we are. Early detection, rapid response, successful containment. But others are worse. Complete breakdown. Authorities fled or overwhelmed. Entire neighborhoods gone dark. This is the new reality. Some places will survive this, some won't. It depends on luck, timing, resources, leadership, all factors beyond individual control. Our city falls in the probably won't category. I have to accept that, accept it, and keep going anyway, because what else is there? The sound outside the building. Ground level. Something hitting the doors, testing them. We have metal security doors that lock automatically after hours. They should hold, should. Jack checks the security camera feeds. There are infected outside, not many, maybe 5 or 6. They're gathered at the main entrance, pushing against the doors, seemingly drawn by sounds or lights from inside. They're not coordinated enough to actually breach the doors, just pressing against them randomly. We kill unnecessary lights. We lower our voices. We minimize anything that might attract more attention. The infected outside eventually lose interest and wander off. But they'll be back, or others like them will come. This building isn't a fortress, it's an office building with basic security. If the infected really wanted in, if enough of them gathered and pushed together, they'd eventually break through. Then we'd be trapped, 4 floors up with nowhere to go. I'm trying not to think about that. Focus on now, this moment, this broadcast. The rest is future, and future is uncertain. It's 9:15. We've been on air for almost 22 hours. I'm beyond exhausted, functioning on autopilot. Emily and Jack are taking turns covering so I can rest a few minutes at a time, but actual sleep is impossible. Too much adrenaline, too much fear. Reports from other cities continue. Pattern is becoming clear. Cities with rapid military response and early containment are holding. Cities where authorities hesitated or response was delayed are failing. We're in the latter category. Hesitation cost us everything. Could it have been different? If they'd acted faster, harder, would we have contained it? Or was it always going to spread regardless because the initial infection was too widespread? I don't know, but I wonder. And the wondering hurts. It's 11:02. We've passed a full day of broadcasting, 23 hours and change of continuous coverage. That's a record for this station. Probably a record for most stations. I'd feel proud under different circumstances. The city is eerily quiet, daylight and emptiness. Occasionally we see movement in the streets, infected wandering aimlessly. They're slower in daylight, less aggressive, but still dangerous, still to be avoided. No rescue is coming. I need to accept that. The military isn't returning. Government isn't saving us. We're on our own until we die or escape or something changes dramatically. Emily found supplies in the building. Other offices had snacks and drinks stocked. We're gathering everything we can, creating a stockpile. Maybe we can last a week here, maybe more if we're careful. A week? Then what? We'll deal with that when we get there. It's 1:43 in the afternoon, over a full day since this started. It feels like a lifetime, it feels like forever. I'm recording messages for my daughter, just in case. Telling her I love her, telling her to be strong, telling her the world is worth fighting for even when it seems broken. I don't know if she'll ever hear these messages, but I need to say them. Emily's doing the same. Calling family, leaving voicemails, making peace with the possibility that these might be final words. Jack is reviewing his footage, editing together a documentary of sorts, evidence of what happened here, proof that we existed, that we tried, that we bore witness. He's uploading it to cloud storage, hoping it'll survive even if we don't. We're preparing for endings while continuing to live. It's surreal. It's 3:27. The radio traffic Emily monitors has gone largely silent. Either the military has moved too far away for us to pick up their communications, or they've stopped communicating on channels we can access. Either way, we're cut off. No official updates, no emergency broadcasts beyond our own. We're alone, but we keep transmitting, even if nobody's listening, even if it's pointless, because what else are we going to do? Sit in silence and wait? No, we keep going. We keep the light on. That's all we can do. That's all we have. It's 6:09, evening again. The sun is setting, darkness returning. The infected will become more active soon. We've barricaded the stairwell door, pushed desks and filing cabinets against it. If they get into the building, they'll have to get through that before reaching us. It won't stop them forever, but it might slow them down. We've armed ourselves with whatever we could find. Letter openers, scissors, a fire extinguisher, pathetic weapons against what we're facing, but better than nothing. Jack has his camera ready. If they come, he'll film, document everything. Let the world know what happened here. I'm at the microphone, continuing to broadcast, talking to whoever might be listening, sharing information, offering comfort, maintaining presence. This is Daniel Rothman. It's 6:19 in the evening, and you're listening to 10. If you're out there, if you're surviving, you're not alone. We're still here. We're still fighting. We're still believing that morning will come and this nightmare will end. I don't know if that's true, but I choose to believe it anyway, because the alternative is unbearable. So we continue, hour after hour, broadcast after broadcast, bearing witness, refusing silence for as long as we can, for as long as it takes, until the darkness claims us or the light returns. This is Daniel Rothman, and you're listening to 10. We're still here. We're still here.